Charlotte Sinclair. The flight to Magnolia Crete cost $486 and whatever remained of my pride. I had not bought it yet, but the airline website was already open on my screen, blinking at me like a dare. One tab held departure times. Another held my unfinished article on zoning commission kickbacks. A third held a spreadsheet of contractor payments that made several local officials look allergic to ethics. Christmas, apparently, cared about none of this. 10 minutes earlier, I had still believed I might get out of going home. That was before my mother said, Charlotte Rose Sinclair, in the exact tone she used for illness, unpaid taxes, and women who wore white to other people's weddings. I should have hung up then. I did not. Ma, I am buried right now, I had said, trying to keep one eye on my notes. The zoning story is a mess. Harrison is breathing fire over deadlines, and 3 people in city have the flu. Holidays are sacred, she said, slicing straight through every reasonable word. You can be an important journalist every other week of the year. I am pretty sure corruption also observes December. Do not get smart with me. Too late. I had been born that way, and she had been objecting ever since. I switched the phone to speaker and rubbed at the bridge of my nose. The newsroom moved around me in its usual state of controlled collapse. Phones rang. Someone at copy yelled about a missing quote. Through the glass wall of Harrison's office, I could see my editor bent over an intern's draft with his red pen out, which meant some poor sentence was about to die in public. I told you, I said. I cannot take Christmas week off. You told me that because you thought saying it often enough would make it true. That was uncomfortably accurate. Mom. No. Your father and I have not seen you since August. It was Labor Day weekend. You stayed one night. It was a busy weekend. It was a pit stop, Charlotte. In the background, I heard my father murmur something. Howard Sinclair had survived 37 years of marriage by developing the verbal posture of a man standing very still in tall grass. What did Dad say? He said you work hard. Thank you, Dad. He also said you should come home. Under duress, probably. Do not drag your father into this. You brought him in as a witness. She ignored that because mothers did not have to respect courtroom procedure. Your cousin Melissa manages to see her mother twice a week. There it was. Melissa. I had been waiting for her. Every family guilt trip came with a Melissa portion, like a sad little side salad nobody ordered. Melissa lives 20 minutes away, I said. Also, Melissa's job is selling essential oils to women named Brandy in Facebook threads. She runs her own business. She posts lavender oil under other people's migraine complaints. She does very well. She just got a new car. She leased a Kia, Ma. I know because she documented the entire process online like a moon landing. Jealousy is ugly. So is a 12-post photo series about floor mats. Charlotte Rose. There it was again. Full legal name. We were entering dangerous territory. I took a drink of coffee and immediately regretted it. It had gone cold because time passes and the newsroom punishes hope. Look, I said. I have a deadline in 4 hours. A real deadline. Everything is always a deadline. When do you live? When do you make memories? I stared at the paragraph on my screen about improper zoning approvals and contractor donations. I make memories. They involve public records requests and getting ignored by councilmen. That is not life. It pays rent. We helped send you to journalism school so you could have choices, not so you could use work as a wall between you and your family. That one landed. I hated when she stumbled into being right. Ma. Your grandmother is 86. And there it was. The big one. Grandma Eileen. My mother saved Grandma for when she needed to win. She did not always deploy her, but when she did, there was no clean defense. Grandma Eileen drinks whiskey every night and still mows her own lawn, I said, though with less force than before. She is going to outlive everyone just to prove a point. She asks about you every day. I closed my eyes. She saved recipes she thought you might like, Mom said, quieter now. She found that cookie press you loved when you were little. She keeps saying maybe you'll make it this year. That was unfair. It was also effective. Grandma never pushed. That was her power. She had opinions about everything from pie crust to local politics, But she never asked why I avoided Magnolia Creek longer than I had to. She never brought up high school. She never mentioned the ex-boyfriend who had gone to prison, or the prom incident, or the way the whole town still treated my life like a story they had misplaced the ending to. Small towns kept receipts. Magnolia Creek kept scrapbooks. I can ask Harrison, I said. The silence on the line changed. My mother had been playing chess while I thought we were arguing. Really? I said I can ask. I did not say yes. Oh, honey, that would mean so much. Your father will be thrilled. And Grandma. I need to call her. No, you absolutely do not. I have not been approved for anything. But you will be. You do not know that. You are excellent at your job. The pivot from disappointment to praise was so fast it made me dizzy. This was her final move. Compliment me, corner me, make retreat morally impossible. Harrison can still say no. But he won't. He might. Then be persuasive. You do that for a living. I investigate city officials. Same thing. It was not, but I respected the confidence. And if you come, she continued, as if the matter had already been settled by both chambers of Congress, bring something nice for Christmas Eve service. I own clothes. Not city clothes. What are city clothes? You know. I do not, but I hear the judgment. Nothing too severe. Nothing black. And something for the Hendersons' party on the 26th. I have not agreed to the Hendersons' party. You always liked the Hendersons. I liked their cheese dip. And the cookie exchange. Ma. You loved the cookie exchange when you were little. Remember when you ate all those snickerdoodles and got sick in the hallway? Wonderful. A cherished childhood humiliation. Thank you. Call me after you talk to your editor. When I can. Today. I have work. Charlotte. I sighed. The sound contained surrender, fatigue, and the death of every plan I had made for a quiet holiday involving takeout and not being perceived. Today, I said. I will call today. I love you, sweetie. Love you too. And bring layers. The church gets chilly. Goodbye, Mom. And don't forget something for the sweater contest. Melissa has been working on hers since October. Ending the call now. Love you. I disconnected before she could assign me a casserole. For a full minute, I looked at my phone like it had betrayed the Republic. Then Harrison stepped out of his office. The intern behind him looked pale and permanently changed. Harrison spotted me through the glass and crooked two fingers. Come here. Excellent. Exactly what the morning needed. A second authority figure with opinions. I grabbed my notebook and the cold coffee because apparently I enjoyed symbolism, then walked into his office. Harrison Marlowe was in his late 50s and looked as if he had been assembled from old newspapers, caffeine, and spite. His shirt was wrinkled. His desk was a landslide of printouts, mugs, notebooks, and one object that may once have been a sandwich. His mood, on a good day, resembled bad weather. He was also the best editor I had ever worked for. Annoying, but true. Sinclair, he said without looking up. Tell me the zoning piece exists. It exists. 1,500 words by end of day. Possibly even good ones. Do not oversell yourself. I would never. I sat across from him and moved a stack of papers away from the edge of the chair. Actually, I said, I need to ask you something. No. You have not heard the question. I have seen your face. My face? That is your favorite face. He finally glanced up, eyes narrowed behind wire frame glasses. And before you say whatever doomed thing you came in here to say, we are 3 reporters down with the flu. Jenkins is texting me from his bathroom about his final moments. The mayor scheduled a surprise press conference tomorrow. City council is trying to sneak the rezoning vote through before everyone leaves town. So no, Sinclair. No time off. No raise. No whatever else that expression means. I considered walking out. I could call my mother and say Harrison refused. She would be disappointed. She would recover eventually. Maybe by Easter. Then I remembered the way her voice had broken when she mentioned Grandma Eileen. Damn it. I need Christmas week off, I said. Harrison stared at me. If I had announced I wanted to join a circus, he might have looked less offended. Say that again. I need Christmas week off. No. Harrison. We just covered this. I can make it work. Can you resurrect Jenkins? Not within the budget. Then no. I leaned forward before he could close the door completely. The zoning story is nearly done. I can chase Peterson for the final quote today. If he keeps dodging, I ride around him. I cover the mayor tomorrow and file before dinner. I can pre-write the city council rap for the 23rd, the holiday crime stats piece, and the year-end city hall roundup. He chewed the cap of his pen, which was disgusting and encouraging. And breaking news? I bring my laptop. From where? I hesitated. His eyes sharpened. Where? South Carolina. He blinked once. You are going to South Carolina. Sadly. During Christmas week. Yes. On purpose. That part remains under review. What is in South Carolina? My family. Sweet tea. Humidity with commitment issues. A town called Magnolia Creek where several hundred people still remember that I set off the fire alarm during senior prom. His mouth twitched. You did what? Not the point. It feels like a point. It was an accident. Most disasters begin that way. Harrison. He removed his glasses and rubbed his eyes. We are drowning here. I know. The mayor is up to something. I know. The rezoning vote matters. Which is why I will finish it before I leave. I will front-load everything. I will stay reachable. If something huge breaks, I can file remotely. The internet does, unfortunately, exist in Magnolia Creek. Unfortunately? You have never met my Aunt Carol on Facebook. He leaned back, studying me. Your mother got to you. She used my full name 3 times. How bad is the full name? Charlotte Rose Sinclair. A slow grin appeared. I hated it immediately. Rose? We do not discuss Rose. That is charming. It is evidence of Southern naming crimes. Charlotte Rose Sinclair, he said, clearly enjoying himself now. Sounds like you should be pouring lemonade on a porch. I will put glitter in your desk drawers. Threatening an editor is frowned upon. I have sources. He laughed, which startled both of us a little. Fine. I sat straighter. Fine? Do not make me regret it. You file everything early. You cover the mayor. You stay on call. If I need copy, you answer. If you ignore my calls because you are at some town square candlelight whatever, I will make January painful. Define painful. Parking commission. Zoning board minutiae. The chemtrail guy. That man sends diagrams. He likes you. He thinks I am part of a media cover-up. See? Built-in relationship. I breathed out for what felt like the first time since my mother called. Thank you. Do not thank me yet. You owe me every bad assignment I can find. Understood. And Sinclair? I paused at the door. If you come back with a thicker accent, you are fired. I already have an accent. Then come back with less of it. That is cultural hostility. End of day. Zoning story. Business hours, not your usual 3 in the morning panic ritual. Got it. I left before he could change his mind. Back at my desk, the airline tab waited. Now the trip was real enough to become logistics. Flight. Presents. Wrapping paper. Carry-on strategy, because I refused to check a bag after Delta lost my suitcase last Thanksgiving and sent it to whatever airport luggage went to die. A church outfit that told Magnolia Creek I was successful, single, respectable, and not currently disappointing Jesus. A Henderson's party outfit that my mother would not describe as a little much. A sweater for the annual Christmas Eve contest, which Melissa had won 3 years running with handmade holiday monstrosities that lit up, jingled, and probably required batteries sold separately. Melissa had new lights this year. Of course she did. I could already hear the questions waiting for me back home. Still single, honey? When are you moving closer? Do you ever write nice stories? Did you hear Melissa's oldest won the regional spelling bee? Yes. Everyone heard. Aunt Carol made a Canva graphic and sent it to the family group chat, then emailed it as a PDF, which felt like a crime with extra steps. I would explain, again, that journalism was not glamorous. It was not yelling at politicians on television and becoming famous. It was public records, angry voicemails, edits that cut your favorite sentence, and arguing over whether a semicolon made you sound smug. I would eat cookies. I would survive comparisons. I would pretend marshmallows on sweet potatoes were not a dessert wearing a vegetable costume. I would smile through people asking if city life had made me hard. Maybe it had. Maybe that was why going home scared me more than I wanted to admit. I clicked the flight. $486. 1 week in Magnolia Creek. Fine. Christmas could have me. Jules Hayes. Oh, sweetie, you're a peach for doing that, Ms. Eileen Sinclair says as I take the groceries off of her hands to carry them to the car. Ain't nothing to it, Miss Sinclair, how is the knee goin'? I ask, because I've known the Sinclair family since elementary school. Ethan, the oldest of the Sinclair boys, was in football with me, played linebacker to my quarterback back in the day. Oh, you know, actin' up something fierce when the weather turns, she says, leading the way through the Piggly Wiggly parking lot. Her pace is slower than I remember, but she has still got that determined stride. Doctor says it's arthritis, but I tell him it's just old age reminding me I'm not 25 anymore. Well, shoot, Miss Sinclair, you don't look a day over 65, I say with a grin, and I mean it too. She swats at my arm, but she is smiling. Julian Alexander Hayes, you always were a charmer. Your mama raised you right. She clicks her key fob and her old cream-colored Buick chirps in response. How is your mama doin', by the way? I haven't seen her at book club the last couple weeks. Oh, she is doin' just fine, ma. Had to skip out 'cause she was helpin' Danny and his wife with the new baby little Emma Grace. That makes grandbaby number 3, and Mama S just beside herself with joy. I arrange the bags carefully in her trunk, making sure the bread doesn't get squished under the canned goods. She told me to tell you she'll be back next week, and she has got opinions about the book I picked. Ms. Eileen laughs, that warm sound that reminds me of Sunday dinners and sweet tea on the porch. Oh Lord, we picked one of those steamy romance novels Janet suggested. I swear that woman is trying to scandalize us all. I feel my ears go hot and I focus real hard on organizing groceries. Well, I'm sure Mama will have some thoughts on that. I'm sure she will. Ms. Eileen's eyes are twinkling with mischief. You know, speaking of family, guess who is coming home for Christmas? Who is that, ma'am? I shift the last bag into place and close the trunk nice and easy. Charlotte. My grandbaby Charlotte is finally coming home for a whole week. The way her whole face lights up makes my chest feel warm. Can you believe it? I about fell clean off my chair when Linda called to tell me. A whole week, Jules. Charlotte Rose Sinclair. My heart does the stupid little jump it's been doing since 8th grade whenever someone mentions her name. The prettiest, smartest girl Magnolia High ever saw, though she never seemed to know it. Had this way of tucking her hair behind her ear when she was concentrating on something, and Lord help me, I used to find excuses to walk past the newspaper room just to catch a glimpse of her doing exactly that. Never told a soul, though. Couldn't he? She was Ethan's baby sister, and Ethan was still as my best friend since we were 6 years old, and he shared his fruit roll-up with me at lunch. There's a code about that sort of thing. You don't mess with your best friend's little sister, no matter how many times she smiled at you in the hallway, no matter how many times you wanted to ask her to homecoming but chickened out because what if it ruined everything? Well, I'll be that wonderful, Miss Sinclair. I managed to get the words out normal like, even though my pulse is doing something funny. The whole town knows Ms. Eileen's been missing her granddaughter something fierce. I bet why all are just over the moon. When is she flying in? 22nd, day before Christmas Eve. Ms. Eileen S practically glowing now. Direct flight into Charleston, and Howard S already mapping out the drive to pick her up. We haven't had her home for a real Christmas in, going on 5 years now, I think? She is just so busy with that important newspaper job up in the city. I saw some of her articles online, I say, and it's true though I don't mention that Ethan sends M to me regular like, or that I've maybe got a few saved on my phone. Real hard-hitting journalism. She wrote this piece about housing corruption that made me think, yep, that Charlotte Sinclair, still fighting the good fight. Ms. Eileen beams with pure pride. That's my girl. Always had a fire in her about what's right and wrong. Even when she was little, she'd see something unfair and just couldn't let it go. She pauses, giving me one of those looks that makes me feel like she can see straight through to my soul. She used to talk about you, you know. Back in high school. My hand freezes on her car door. Ma'am? Oh, don't play dumb with me, Jules Hayes. You're sweet, but you're not that dense. Her smile turns knowing, almost mischievous. That girl had it bad for you junior year. Used to turn pink as a azalea every time you came over to see Ethan. I feel heat creeping up my neck. I never knew that, Miss Sinclair. Well, you were too busy being a gentleman about it, weren't you? She pats my cheek like I'm still 10 years old. Ethan told her in no uncertain terms that you were off-limits best friend rules and all that nonsense. I told Linda it was silly, but you know how boys are about those things. My mind's reelin'. Charlotte she'd felt the same way? All those years I'd been tongue-tied around her, and she'd been. She still single, you know, Ms. Eileen adds casually, way too casually. Focused on her career. And you're still single too, aren't you, honey? Yes, ma'am, I say, my voice coming out a little rough. Been helping run Daddy's construction business. Took over as foreman last year, so it's been keeping me pretty occupied. Too occupied for everything else, sounds like. She settles into her driver's seat with a satisfied look. You know what? We're having a Christmas Eve dinner at the house. Just family and close friends Ethan and Ashley, the kids, and Charlotte, of course. You should stop by. I'm making my coconut cake, and Linda's doing her brown sugar ham. My heart's hammering now. Oh, I wouldn't want to intrude on family time. Julie and Alexander, you've been family since you were knee-high to a grasshopper. Besides, her eyes twinkle. I think Charlotte would be real happy to see a friendly face. Might be nice for her to know some things haven't changed around here. Some good things, anyway. I swallow hard, nodding even though my brain's still trying to catch up. Yes, ma'am. I like that. Thank you. Good. That's settled then. She starts her engine, grinning like she just won something. You tell your mama I said hello, and that I expect her back at book club. We need her voice of reason when Janet starts suggesting those ridiculous books. Will do, Miss Sinclair. You drive safe now, and call if you need help with anything else. I will, sweetie. You're a good boy, Jules. Don't ever change. I watch her pull out of the parking lot, my hand raised in a wave, my mind still stuck on one sentence. That girl had it bad for you. Charlotte Sinclair is coming home for Christmas. And apparently, I've got 5 days to figure out what the hell I'm gonna say to her. It's the 21st of December, snow is pilling gently on the sidewalk. Well, what passes for snow down here anyway, more like a dustin' of powdered sugar than anything substantial, and I'm getting out of low S with a new saw jig I came for when I see Mr. Sinclair old Ford truck smoking up a storm in the parking lot. And I mean smokin'. White clouds are pouring out from under the hood like a chimney that's been working overtime, and Mr. Sinclair is standing there with his hands on his hips, staring at it like if he looks hard enough, the problem might just fix itself. Mr. Sinclair? I call out, quickening my pace across the lot. The saw jig can wait, this looks like trouble, and there's no way I'm just gonna walk on by. Everything all right, sir? He looks up, and I can see the frustration written all over his face, mixed with that particular brand of male pride that don't like admit when something's gone wrong. Oh, hey there, Jules. Yeah, well, no, actually I'm not all right. Damn truck decided today was a good day to give up the ghost, apparently. I set my saw jig down on the bed of my own truck and jog over, already pulling my phone out in case we need to call someone. What happened? She just started smoking like this? Started making a funny noise about 2 miles back, then the temperature gauge shot up into the red. He shakes his head, looking more worried now than frustrated. I pulled in here hoping it'd cool down, but then this started. He gestures at the smoke, which is still pouring out pretty good. Mind if I take a look? I'm already moving toward the hood, and Mr. Sinclair steps back, nodding. Be my guest. You're better with these things than I am anyway. I pop the hood careful like, 'cause I don't want steam blowing up in my face, and let it vent for a second before leaning in. Even with the cold air, I can feel the heat radiating off the engine. Phew, she's running hot, that's for sure. I know I should be taking her in last month when she started acting up, Mr. Sinclair says, and he sounds genuinely upset about it. Linda kept telling me, but I thought I could make it through Christmas, you know? And now here we are, day before Charlotte comes home, and I'm stranded at Lois like some kind of fool. My ears perk up at Charlotte's name, but I stay focused on the engine. Don't beat yourself up, sir. These things happen. I lean in closer, checking the hoses and connections. Looks like, yeah, you got a busted radiator hose here. See this? I point to where coolant has been spraying all over the engine block. That's your culprit right there. Can it be fixed? There's hope in his voice now, mixed with concern. Oh, sure. Hose replacement's not too bad, I can do it right here if Lois has the right size in stock. I straighten up, wiping my hands on my jeans. Question is, you got any coolant left in the system? If she ran too hot for too long, we might have bigger problems. Mr. Sinclair runs a hand through his hair, looking even more worried. How long we talking to fix it? I gotta pick up Charlotte from Charleston Airport tomorrow afternoon, and Linda LL have my head if I miss that flight. Well, with that truck, I don't believe you're going anywhere but Ralph's garage, sir, I say, trying to be gentle about it. I think we need to know for certain if there is still coolant in the system, and even then, she might be done some damage running that hot. Ralph's got the diagnostic equipment to check if the head gasket is blown or if there is any warp in the engine block. He pauses, his face fallen. I'll be damned. How will I pick Charlotte up now, he mutters, more to himself than to me. She lands at 3:30 tomorrow. Linda has been counting down the days, and now. My heart has already made the decision before my brain catches up. Well, I canna if it's not too much I can pick her up, if you'd like. The words tumble out faster than I intend. She is staying with y'all, right? Out at the house? Mr. Sinclair looks up at me, surprise written all over his face. Jules, that's a 2-hour drive each way. I can't ask you to do that. You're not a skin, sir, I'm off errand. I shift my weight, suddenly feeling like I'm 15 again and a skin permission to take Ethan fishin'. I got nothing pressin' tomorrow afternoon anyway. Was just gonna help Mama set up for her cookie exchange, but Danny can handle that. And my truck is reliable, she'll make the drive no problem. But it's Christmas Eve, he protests, though I can see he is considering it. You got your own family things to do, and... Mr. Sinclair, with all due respect, my family things consist of watching Mama and Aunt Carol argue about whether the stuffing should have pecans or walnuts, while Daddy pretends to watch football but actually naps in his recliner. I give him a reassuring smile. Trust me, driving to Charleston is way more productive than being a referee for the Great Hayes family pecan debate. That gets a small laugh out of him, but he still looks uncertain. I don't know, Jules. It's a long drive, and Charlotte, well, she has been gone a long time. Might be awkward, two people who haven't seen each other in years stuck in a truck for 2 hours. My stomach does a little flip at that, but I push through. We'll be fine, sir. We've known each other since we were kids. I'm sure we can find something to talk about. Like how I'd been half in love with her since 8th grade, but that's probably not the conversation starter I should lead with. Besides, this way you can focus on helping Ms. Linda get everything ready at the house, and you won't have to worry about the drive. I know that stretch of highway makes you nervous after dark. He studies me for a long moment, and I get the feeling he is seeing more than I'm saying. Finally, he nods slowly. You sure about this? Because Linda will skin me alive if anything goes wrong. I'm positive, sir. I'll get her home safe and sound, I promise. I pull out my phone. Just text me her flight information and I'll be there with a sign and everything. Real professional like. A sign? He raises an eyebrow. Well, yeah. One of those airport pickup signs. Make her feel like a celebrity coming home. I'm already getting excited about this, my mind running through logistics. I'll even clean out my truck, make sure it doesn't smell like sawdust and diesel. Maybe grab some of those air freshener things from the gas station. Jules. Mr. Sinclair puts a hand on my shoulder, and his expression has gone soft. You don't have to do all that. Just, be yourself. That'll be more than enough. There's something in the way he says it that makes my ears go hot again, like he knows exactly why I'm so eager to volunteer for airport duty. But he don't call me on it, just pats my shoulder and nods. Alright then. I'll text you the flight details tonight. Delta, coming in from New York with a connection, lands at 3:35. He pauses. And Jules? Thank you. Really. This means a lot to Linda and me. And I think Charlotte LL be happy to see you. My heart's doing that stupid hammerin' thing again. Yes, sir. Happy to help. Just then, Ethan's truck pulls into the parking lot, and I see my best friend's face through the windshield, already looking concerned. He parks next to us and hops out, talking in the scene his dad's smoking truck, me standing there probably looking like I just won the lottery and got struck by lightning at the same time. Dad, you okay? Jules said the truck died? Ethan's at his father's side in a second, doing that quick once-over you do when you're checking if someone's hurt. I'm fine, son. Just the truck acting up. Mr. Sinclair gestures to the still smoking Ford. Jules here thinks it's the radiator hose, maybe worse. Needs to go to Ralph S. Damn. Ethan runs a hand over his face. And you gotta pick up Charlotte tomorrow. Jules is gonna do it, Mr. Sinclair says, and I catch the quick look he gives Ethan. Offered to drive to Charleston and bring her home. Ethan's eyes snap to me, wide with surprise. You're driving to Charleston? Tomorrow? Yeah, I mean, your dad needs help and I got the time, so, I shrug, trying to play it casual even though my pulse is racing. No big deal. Ethan stares at me for a second longer than comfortable, and I can practically see the gears turning in his head. We've been friends long enough that he can read me pretty well, and right now I'm probably about as subtle as a neon sign. That's real good of you, man. His voice is careful, measured. Real good. Well, that's settled then. Mr. Sinclair claps his hands together, either not noticing the weird tension or choosing to ignore it. Ethan, how about you give me a ride home? Jules is gonna arrange the tow to Ralph S. Jules, you come by the house later and I'll get you Charlotte's flight information, maybe some cash for gas. No sir, I don't need. Jules Hayes, you're driving 4 hours round trip to pick up my daughter. You're talking gas money and that's final. His tone brooks no argument, and I know better than to push it. Yes, sir. I'll swing by around 7, if that works. Perfect. Linda LL probably have supper ready by then, you're welcome to stay and eat with us. Oh, I don't want to impose. Julian. Mr. Sinclair gives me a look. You're savon Christmas. The least we can do is feed you. Besides, Linda S. making her pot roast, and I know that's your favorite. He S. got me there. Ms. Linda S. pot roast is legendary. Well, when you put it that way. Good. It's settled. Mr. Sinclair heads toward Ethan's truck, then pauses and looks back at me. And Jules? Drive careful tomorrow, alright? Precious cargo. Yes, sir. Always do. As they pull away, Ethan gives me one more look through the window, part confusion, part curiosity, and maybe a little bit of concern. I wave him off, then turn back to stare at Mr. Sinclair's still smoking truck. Precious cargo. I got about 24 hours to figure out what I'm gonna say to Charlotte Sinclair after 5 years of silence, 2 hours trapped in a truck together, and a lifetime's worth of feelings I never had the guts to admit to. No pressure or anything. Charlotte Sinclair. I land in Charleston with my suitcase, frizzy hair, and chapped lips from the plane, getting out the arrivals gate, looking around for Dad anywhere in the crowd. There's a lot of people coming home for Christmas week, families reuniting with tears and hugs, kids screaming about Santa, the whole Hallmark movie setup that makes me feel like I'm walking through someone else's life. I'm wheeling my bags through the chaos, already mentally preparing for Dad's inevitable, the drive wasn't so bad speech that he gives every single time he picks someone up from Charleston, when I spot the sign with my name on it. Except it's not Dad holding it. It's Julian freaking Hayes. Standing there like he just stepped out of a country music video or a very specific fantasy I had in high school that I've spent a decade pretending never happened. Blonde hair that's somehow perfectly tousled despite the fact that it's December and windy as hell. Jeans that fit in a way that should probably be illegal in public spaces. Work boots that have actually seen work, not the designer kind that cost $400 and have never touched dirt. A flannel, of course it's a flannel under a worn canvas jacket that looks like it smells like wood smoke and pine and all those other things that shouldn't be as attractive as they are. Why does he have to look this good? This is a personal attack. A conspiracy against my sanity. My brain short-circuits for a solid 3 seconds before the sarcasm defense mechanism kicks in. Great. Perfect. This is exactly what I need right now. I've just spent 6 hours on planes, my hair looks like I stuck my finger in an electrical socket, I'm pretty sure there's a coffee stain on my shirt from the turbulence incident over Virginia, and my lips are so chapped I look like I've been wandering the desert for 40 days. And Jules Hayes, who apparently made a deal with the devil to look like that, is my welcoming committee. The universe has a sick sense of humor. I take a deep breath, paste on what I hope is a casual smile instead of the "why are you doing this to me" grimace I'm feeling, and wheel my suitcase toward him. His face lights up when he spots me, actually lights up, like a golden retriever who has been waiting by the door all day, and I feel something in my chest do a traitorous little flip. Nope. We're not doing this. We're 32. We're professionals. We're adults who don't get flustered by high school crushes who somehow got even more attractive with age. Jules? I call out, going for surprised rather than internally panicking. What are you doing here? He lowers the sign, which I now notice is written in surprisingly neat handwriting on what looks like the back of a low-S receipt, and his smile gets even bigger, if that's possible. How does someone smile with their whole face like that? It's obscene. Hey, Charlotte. He says it like we saw each other last week instead of 5 years ago. Like it's the most natural thing in the world for him to be standing in Charleston Airport holding a sign with my name on it. Welcome home. Thanks, but I gesture vaguely around, looking for Dad in the crowd even though I know he is not here. Where's my dad? Is everything okay? Oh. Yeah, everything is fine. Jules reaches for my suitcase, of course he does, because apparently chivalry is alive and well and wearing work boots in South Carolina. Well, mostly fine. Your dad's truck decided to die in the low-S parking lot yesterday, so he asked me to come get you instead. Hope that's okay? His hand brushes mine as he takes the handle of my suitcase, and I pull back like I've been electrocuted. Smooth, Charlotte. Real smooth. The truck died? I focus on that instead of the fact that my hand is tingling. Is he okay? What happened? Just a radiator hose and some overheating. Ralph's got it at the shop, should be fixed in a couple days. He is already wheeling my suitcase toward the exit like it weighs nothing, and I'm left to follow with my carry-on, feeling distinctly like I've lost control of this situation. Your dad was real torn up about not being able to pick you up himself, but I told him I had the time and didn't he mind the drive. The drive. Right. 2 hours. In a car. With Jules Hayes. Who looks like that and is being all helpful and sweet and everything I spent 5 years in New York specifically trying to forget about. That's really nice of you. I hate how genuine I sound. Where's my sarcasm? My jadedness? My carefully constructed armor against small-town niceness? You didn't have to do that. I could be rented a car or something. On Christmas Eve? Those rental places charge highway robbery this time of year. He glances back at me with a grin that should come with a warning label. Besides, your dad offered me gas money and your mom's pot roast last night. I drive to Atlanta and back for Ms. Linda's pot roast. Right. This is a favor for my parents. A transaction. Not anything to do with me specifically. That makes sense. That's logical. That doesn't explain why I feel vaguely disappointed. We push through the automatic doors into the cold December air which, let us be honest, is still warmer than New York, but everyone here will act like it's the Arctic, and I spot his truck in the pickup lane. It's exactly what I'd expect, a well-maintained Ford F-150, dark blue, with what looks like actual mud on the tires from actual work. Of course he drives a truck. Of course he does. He loads my suitcase into the bed like it's nothing and okay, yes, I notice his arms. Sumi then opens the passenger door for me. Actually opens it. Stands there holding it like we're in a period drama. And lady, he says with a little mock bow, and there's that grin again. Did you seriously just lady me? But I'm climbing in, because what else am I going to do? Stand in the cold arguing about outdated chivalry? Seemed appropriate. He closes the door gently and jogs around to the driver's side, sliding in with an ease that suggests he has done this about 1,000,000 times. The truck smells, actually really good. Like pine and something clean, with a hint of coffee. There's an air freshener hanging from the rearview mirror, one of those little tree ones, naturally, and the cab is suspiciously clean for a work truck. Did he clean his truck for me? No. Stop it. He probably cleans it regularly. He's responsible. That's all this is. Jules starts the engine, and some country station comes on because of course it does, playing something about coming home for Christmas. He immediately reaches to turn it down. Sorry, I can change it if you want. What do you usually listen to? I realize I don't actually know how to answer that. What do I listen to? Podcasts about municipal corruption? The screaming void of my own thoughts during my commute? Whatever's fine. I'm not picky. He nods, leaving it on low, and pulls out of the airport with the confidence of someone who made this drive 100 times. We sit in silence for about 30 seconds, which feels like 30 hours, before he glances over at me. So, he says, and his voice is warm and genuine, and why is that somehow worse than awkward? How was the flight? Get stuck next to anyone weird? And just like that, we're doing this. Small talk. 2 hours of small talk with Jules Hayes, who looks like a Pinterest board come to life and is being aggressively nice about it. This is going to be the longest drive of my life. Or maybe, a traitorous voice in the back of my head whispers, it won't be long enough. I tell that voice to shut up and reach for my seatbelt. The flight was fine, I lie. Just fine. Jules Hayes. I keep my eyes mostly on the road, but every now and then I sneak a glance at her, just quick little side eyes, so I don't come off like some kind of creep. Charlotte Sinclair. Sitting right here in my truck like it's the most normal thing in the world. Lord help me. She's got the sun visor flipped down now, putting on some kind of chapstick, clear, glossy, subtle, and it catches the light just enough to make her lips look downright unfair. Like, illegal levels of pretty. I didn't know lip balm could make a man question his entire life. And then she sighs and leans back in the seat, brushing a hand through her hair that's all mussed up from the plane and still somehow looks better than anything I've ever seen on TV. It ain't fair. She smells like oranges and sunshine and a little bit like City Girl perfume that costs more than my electric bill. I don't know how she does it. I flew once in college and came out the other side smelling like airplane peanuts and regret. Meanwhile, Charlotte walks out of an airport looking like a magazine spread titled Effortless but out of your league. And yeah, okay, I noticed the jeans. I'm a man, not a monk. She's different than she was in high school, that's for sure. Still got that spark, but now it's tempered with confidence. Like she's lived a whole lot of life and come out sharper, stronger. She's grown into herself in a way that makes it hard to look away and even harder to think straight. I grip the wheel a little tighter and clear my throat. Need me to stop and grab you a coffee or something? I know it's a bit of a haul from here. She looks over at me, surprised. You don't have to do that. I know I don't have to, I say, flashing a grin. But I figure you might want one. Airports don't exactly serve the good stuff. Her smile flickers, tired but real. Yeah, okay. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. I file that away like it means something. Charlotte leans her head against the window for a second, and I swear, just for a second, it feels like the world slows down. Like we've been doing this for years, just riding around together, talking soft, her in my passenger seat like she belongs there. And I know I'm being ridiculous. I know she's got a big job and a bigger life up in New York or wherever her stories take her. She probably eats at restaurants where the menus don't even have prices on them. Meanwhile, I've got a punch card to the biscuit barn and the same flannel shirt in 3 colors. But still. She's here. In my truck. And for the first time in a long while, the world feels right. I tap the steering wheel in time with the radio, the twang of some Luke Combs song humming low. I glance over at her again and catch her watching me. She looks away fast, too fast, and suddenly I'm 17 again, sweaty palms and racing heart and a brain full of things I'll never say. But this time I'm not 17. This time I don't have Ethan telling me hands off, and maybe just maybe I finally get to say what I should be said back when she used to blush every time I walked into the kitchen looking for Gatorade. Maybe this time I get it right. Hey, I say, keeping it light. You know Mama gonna ask if you brought a fancy coat for church. Charlotte groans, head thunking gently against the window. God. Is that still a thing? Absolutely, I say. And Ms. Linda already warned me that if you show up in anything with a zipper instead of buttons, she's filing a formal complaint. That earns a laugh from her, and it's like music. No, seriously. Like the kind of sound you want to bottle up and keep in your glove box for when life gets heavy. I grin wider, probably looking like a fool. But I don't care. Because she's here. And she's laughing. And for the first time in a long time, it feels like maybe this Christmas might actually turn out to be something special. Not because of the cookies. Not because of the lights. Not even because of Ms. Linda's pot roast. Because of her. Because Charlotte Rose Sinclair is back. And maybe just maybe I finally get my shot. So, how is your mom and dad, she asks, settling deeper into the seat. Your dad still doing construction work? There's this casual way she says it, like we're just two old friends catching up. But it hits me in the chest, 'cause she remembered. Not just my folks, but what my dad does. That's not nothin'. I smile and adjust my grip on the wheel. Yeah, he is still at it. Slowed down a bit, though bad back, you know. But he still shows up to the site every now and then just to supervise, which mostly means drinking coffee and telling everybody how they're doing it wrong. Charlotte laughs softly, and Lord, that sound could thaw a hard freeze. And your mom, she asks. Oh, Mama's good, I say, warmth creeping into my voice. Still running her corner of Magnolia Creek like it's a military operation book club, Sunday school, PTA even though she ain't got kids in school anymore. I glance over at her. She says hey, by the way. And she expects to see you at church on Christmas Eve looking like you haven't been corrupted by city livin'. Charlotte groans like I just handed her a bucket of chores. God, does everyone in town still think New York is a pit of sin and moral decay? Only the Baptists, I tease. The Methodists are mostly fine with it, long as you don't wear red lipstick in the sanctuary. That gets a snort from her, and it does things to me. Things I'm not proud of but absolutely not repentant about. I keep going, feeling a little more relaxed now that we've got a rhythm. Daddy handed me the reins at the company last year, I say, nodding out the windshield like I'm pointing at something only I can see. Hey son still sounds funny since there's only one of me, but we've been keeping busy. Did a lot of roofing work after that big hailstorm back in spring. And just wrapped up a new porch for the Blevins place. Took him 3 months to agree on the stain color, but we got there. Wow, she says, and there's this softness in her tone that wraps around me like a quilt fresh out the dryer. You really stayed. I glance over at her, and for once, she's not wearing that armor of sarcasm she's had since the moment I saw her in the airport. She looks thoughtful. A little sad, maybe. Or wistful. I did, I say, voice low. Somebody had to. Figured I'd stick around, keep things running. Make sure Mama and Daddy were taken care of. Help out where I can. Charlotte nods slowly, looking out at the road. That's really good of you, Jules. I shrug, suddenly shy. Ain't nothin'. Just trying to do right by my folks. Small towns run on folks showing up for each other. Silence settles in for a second, not heavy, just comfortable. Like the kind that happens when you've known someone so long you don't need to fill every second with words. I sneak another look at her, chin lifted, eyes on the horizon, fingers tapping the rhythm of some thought I can't hear. And I think, God, I missed her. I didn't even realize how much till now. And yeah, maybe I didn't go to the big city, maybe I didn't chase some grand adventure. But I built something here. A life. A home. And maybe just maybe she came back to remember what that feels like. You hungry? I ask suddenly, like the thought just popped in. There's a gas station up ahead that makes the best fried chicken biscuit this side of the state line. I know it's not city food, but it'll put some color back in your face after all that airline pretzel trauma. Charlotte arches an eyebrow, amused. You're seriously offering me gas station chicken? I grin like the fool I am. Not just any chicken. Billy's chicken. Crispy on the outside, tender on the inside, and the biscuit is so buttery it'll ruin you for all other biscuits. She rolls her eyes, but I see the corner of her mouth twitching like she is fighting back a smile. You haven't changed. I glance over at her, heart knocking around in my chest like it's got something to say. Maybe not. But you're still sitting in my truck, so I must be doing something right. She smiles. Alright, let us see what that chicken's all about, she says. Yes, ma. I can't keep the grin off my face as I flip on my turn signal and ease off toward the exit. You're in for a real treat. Billy's been frying chicken at that gas station for going on 25 years now, and I'm pretty sure it's what's keeping half the county alive. High praise for gas station food, Charlotte says, but she's smiling, really smiling, and it does something to my chest that feels dangerously close to hope. I pull into Billy's Gas Go, which looks exactly like what it is, a tiny cinder block building with 2 ancient pumps out front, a hand-painted sign that's faded from years of sun, and Christmas lights strung up around the windows that definitely been there since the Clinton administration. But the smell? Pure heaven. Stay put, I'll run in and grab, I start to say, already reaching for my door handle. Jules Hayes, if you think I'm sitting in this truck while you get all the food, you've lost your mind. Charlotte's already unbuckling her seatbelt, giving me that stubborn look I remember from when she used to argue with the principal about dress code policies. Besides, I want to see this legendary establishment for myself. Alright. I hop out quick and jog around to her side, getting there just as she's opening her door. At least let me help you down, truck's got a high step. She pauses, looking at my offered hand with this expression I can't quite read. You know I've been getting out of vehicles by myself for about 15 years now, right? Never said you couldn't, I say, keeping my hand out there. Just off errand to be a gentleman about it. It's part of the full Magnolia Creek experience comes with the chicken. She rolls her eyes but takes my hand anyway, and Lord have mercy, her fingers are soft and warm and fit in mine like they were custom made for it. She hops down from the truck, and for just a second she's close enough that I catch another hit of that citrus perfume and my brain completely short-circuits. You comin', she asks, already heading toward the door, and I realize I'm just standing there holding her hand like some kind of statue. Yep. Right behind you. I catch up in 2 strides and reach past her to grab the door, pulling it open. The little bell above jingles and warm air rushes out, bringing with it the smell of fried chicken, fresh coffee, and that pine-scented cleaner Billy uses on everything. Jules Hayes. Billy hollers from behind the counter, his round face splitting into a huge grin. He's wearing his usual grease-stained apron and a Santa hat that's seen better days. Twice in 1 week must be Christmas miracles happenin'. Hey, Billy. I guide Charlotte toward the counter with a light hand on her lower back, trying real hard not to think about how right that feels. Got someone special I wanted you to meet. This here's Charlotte Sinclair, Ethan's baby sister. She's home from New York for the holidays. Billy's eyebrows shoot up. Little Charlotte Sinclair? Well, I'll be damned. Last time I saw you, you were writing for the school paper and raising hell about the cafeteria using expired milk. Charlotte laughs, and there's a flush creeping into her cheeks that makes her even prettier. That was a long time ago, Mr. Billy. And technically the milk wasn't expired, just suspicious. Just Billy's fine, sweetheart. And suspicious milk is still bad milk in my book. He leans on the counter, looking between us with eyes that are way too knowing. So Jules's given you the grand tour of Magnolia Creek's finest dining establishments, huh? He promised me life-changing chicken, Charlotte says, and I notice she's let a little more southern slip into her voice. Something about being back home, maybe. So far all I've seen is a gas station that looks like it's held together with duct tape and prayer. Hey now, Billy protests, but he's grinning. That's quality duct tape. And premium prayers. But you're right about the chicken. Jules knows what he's talking about there. See? Billy gets it. I lean against the counter next to Charlotte, our shoulders almost touching. 2 chicken biscuits, extra crispy. And 2 sweet teas. I pause, glancing at her. You still drink sweet tea, or has New York corrupted you into that unsweetened nonsense? Charlotte puts her hand on her hip, eyes sparkling with challenge. I might be been gone a while, Jules Hayes, but I haven't completely lost my mind. Sweet tea. Obviously. That's my girl, I say without thinking, then immediately feel my ears go hot. I mean, good choice. Smart. Billy's watching us like we're his favorite TV show, still grinning like the devil himself. 2 chicken biscuits, 2 sweet teas. Why I'll want anything else? Got fresh Christmas cookies. My wife made those sugar ones with the red and green sprinkles. Oh, we really shouldn't. Charlotte starts. We'll take half a dozen, I interrupt, already pulling out my wallet. Can't come to Billie's at Christmas and not get the cookies. It's basically illegal. It is not illegal. Town Ordinance, subsection 12, I say seriously. Right between wave at your neighbors and never trust anyone who doesn't tea like dogs. Billy cackles, already boxing up cookies. Yes, right, you know. Very serious business. Charlotte's shaking her head but she's smiling, and I'm counting that as a major victory. While Billy gets our order together, I stay right where I am, close enough to Charlotte that I can feel the warmth radiating off her. She is looking around the little store, taking in the mismatched shelves, the bulletin board covered in flyers for church events and lost pets, the ancient Mr. Coffee machine that's probably been brewing since the Reagan administration. This place hasn't changed at all, she says softly, and there's something wistful in her voice. Like, at all. Even that same crack in the corner of the window. Some things are worth keeping the same, I say quietly, and when she looks up at me, I add, some things are perfect just the way they are. Her eyes hold mine for a beat longer than necessary, and I swear something passes between us. Something that feels like recognition. Like maybe we're not just talking about Billie's Gasco anymore. Here we go. Billy slides 2 paper-wrapped biscuits and 2 giant sweet teas across the counter, along with a box of cookies. Fresh and hot. Why all gonna eat here or take it on the road? I look at Charlotte. There's a couple picnic tables out front. We could sit for a bit, let you experience the full ambience. Unless you're in a hurry to get home and face the Linda Sinclair welcome committee? She considers for a second, then nods. Picnic tables sound good. Might as well delay the inevitable interrogation about my life choices. That's the spirit. I pay Billy, waving off Charlotte's attempts to contribute and grab our food. Thanks, Billy. Tell your wife those cookies are gonna be gone before we hit the county line. I'll tell her to make more for the church social. Billy calls after us. Good seeing you, Charlotte. Don't be a stranger. Outside, the December air is crisp but not too cold, one of those perfect Carolina winter days where the sun is bright and the sky is that deep, clear blue. I lead us to the least rickety-looking picnic table and set our food down, then make a big show of dusting off the bench with my sleeve. Your table, madam, I say with a little bow. You're ridiculous, Charlotte says, but she is laughing as she sits down. I slide onto the bench across from her and unwrap her biscuit, passing it over. All right, moment of truth. Prepare to have your entire understanding of fried chicken fundamentally altered. She takes a bite, and I watch her face, carefully watching for that moment when it hits. And sure enough, her eyes go wide. Oh my God, she says around the mouthful, then covers her mouth. Oh my God, Jules. This is life-changing? I supply, grinning like I just won the lottery. I hate that you're right. She takes another bite, making this little sound of appreciation that I'm definitely going to think about later. This is better than anything I've had in New York. How is that possible? Because Billy puts love into it, I say, biting into my own biscuit. And probably an illegal amount of butter. But mostly love. We eat in comfortable silence for a minute, and I can't help but notice how right this feels. Sitting here with Charlotte, eating chicken biscuits at a gas station picnic table like we're teenagers again, except better. Because we're not teenagers. We're grown adults, and she is here, and she is smiling at me like maybe, just maybe, I'm not completely out of my league. So, I say, wiping my hands on a napkin. Scale of 1 to 10, how mad is your mama gonna be that I fed you gas station chicken instead of bringing you straight home? Charlotte pretends to think about it. Solid 8. Maybe 9 if she finds out about the cookies. Worth it? She looks at me, really looks at me, and her smile goes soft. Yeah. Definitely worth it. And just like that, sitting at a wobbly picnic table outside Billie's Gasco with December sunshine on our faces and chicken grease on our fingers, I think maybe this is the best Christmas present I could be asked for. Charlotte Sinclair. There she is. Oh, look at you, Mom practically squeals, throwing her arms open like I'm a soldier returning from battle instead of her slightly sleep-deprived daughter who flew coach out of LaGuardia with a crying toddler behind her and a guy who took his shoes off 2 rows up. I barely make it out of Jules' truck before she's on me hugging, fussing, doing that full body squeeze like she thinks I might dissolve if she lets go too soon. "Mom, I was here in August," I mumble into her shoulder, my suitcase still halfway in the truck bed. "That was a blink, Charlotte. You came for 24 hours, ate one plate of deviled eggs, and spent the rest of the time on your laptop." She pulls back to look at me like she's inspecting for damage. Hands on my face, patting my coat, brushing something imaginary off my shoulder. "You've lost weight. You're pale. Are you getting enough sleep?" "Mom, it's December in New York. We don't see the sun until March." I slide my sunglasses onto my head and offer Jules a silent plea to help extract my bag before my mother starts checking my iron levels on the front lawn like I'm some Dickensian orphan. He's already moving, of course. Because Jules Hayes is genetically incapable of not being helpful. He grabs my suitcase like it weighs nothing and flashes me that same easy smile that used to short-circuit my adolescent brain back when I thought marrying the boy next door was a viable life plan. Truth is, it is kind of nice to be back. Even with the inevitable interrogations about my dating life and passive-aggressive jabs about those big city values. The air smells like pine and cinnamon and wood smoke, and there's something grounding about it all. Familiar. Unchanged in that maddening, comforting small-town way. And the drive back? Yeah. That didn't help my emotional equilibrium at all. Jules is still Jules. The same guy who used to trail behind my brother like a loyal retriever, always 2 steps away from bailing him out of whatever dumb scheme Ethan cooked up. Still polite, still thoughtful, still unfairly good-looking in that outdoorsy, humble, just threw this on way that somehow always includes perfectly rolled sleeves and clean stubble. And me? I'm still the girl who once spent half of junior year scribbling Miss Charlotte Hayes in the margins of my algebra notebook like a hopeless idiot. Like that was ever going to happen. He was Ethan's best friend. There was a code. A wall. A very real "you're like a sister to me" energy that might as well have been written in permanent marker across my forehead. And when I finally realized he wasn't ever going to look at me like that, I did what any sensible overachiever with a broken heart would do. I threw myself into school, graduated early, got the hell out of Magnolia Creek, and built a career 4 states away. And I've been fine. Great, even. Independent. Accomplished. No pining. No lingering glances at old yearbooks or reliving high school crushes like some sad case who peaked at 17. So why is my chest acting like a traitor just because he opened a truck door and bought me a gas station biscuit? Why does every smile from him feel like a secret I'm not supposed to want to keep? It's the nostalgia talking. The holidays. The proximity. It's just familiarity, stirred in with a little sleep deprivation and the emotional chaos of coming home. That's all. I know how the story goes. The small-town boy who never left and the career-obsessed girl who did, thrown back together by circumstance, spend a few cozy days reconnecting and maybe almost kissing in the glow of Christmas lights. And then she flies back to her real life, and he stays here, and they both pretend they're totally fine with it. Classic. Predictable. Not for me. I didn't crawl my way up the journalism ladder, survive 4 layoffs, and eat ramen in a 5th-floor walk-up with no heat just to come back here and swoon over a man who once duct-taped my brother's entire locker shut as a prank. Nope. I'm immune now. Older. Wiser. Fully vaccinated against Jules Hayes and his dimples. I repeat this in my head like a mantra as he walks past me with my suitcase in one hand and a smile in the other, chatting with my mom like he's already part of the holiday decor. This is fine. Totally fine. Howard. Come help with the bags. Mom's already got her arm looped through mine, steering me toward the house like I might make a run for it. And Charlotte, your room is all made up: fresh sheets, new towels, I even put out those lavender sachets you like. Mom, I'm 32. You don't have to. Nonsense. You're never too old for lavender sachets. She pats my hand. Now, I've got pot roast in the oven, your grandmother's making her eggnog the special kind. Don't tell your father, and tomorrow we're doing the cookie exchange at church, so you'll need to pick out something nice to wear. I literally just got here. I know, sweetie, which is why I'm giving you the schedule now so you can mentally prepare. She says this like it's perfectly reasonable. Oh, and the Henderson's annual party is on the 26th, and you know how Carol gets if we don't RSVP early. Mom. I stop on the porch steps. Can I just exist for like 5 minutes before we start planning my entire week? She blinks at me, genuinely confused. But I thought you'd want to know what. Linda, let the girl breathe. Grandma Eileen appears in the doorway like some kind of cardigan-wrapped specter, eggnog already in hand even though it's barely 4 p.m. She just got off a plane. Let her have a moment before you start the scheduling committee. I'm not scheduling, I'm planning. Same thing, dear. Grandma reaches out and pulls me into a hug that smells like Chanel No. 5 and bourbon. There's my favorite girl. You look exhausted. Thanks, Grandma. Really selling it. I'm honest, not polite. There's a difference. She pulls back, studying my face with those sharp eyes that miss absolutely nothing. You eaten enough up there? You look like you've been living on coffee and stress. That's actually pretty accurate. Thought so. She takes a sip of her eggnog. Well, we'll fix that. Your mother's been cooking for 3 days straight. I think she's trying to single-handedly reverse whatever nutritional damage New York has done. Jules' coming back down from depositing my luggage, and I catch him trying not to smile at the family circus currently unfolding around me. He's got that look, the one that says he finds all of this charming instead of suffocating. Of course he does. He probably has normal family dinners where people don't interrogate each other about life choices and thyroid function. Jules, honey, you're staying for dinner, aren't you? Mom's already moving toward the kitchen, not really asking so much as informing. I made plenty. Oh, Ms. Linda, I don't want to intrude. You drove 4 hours to pick up my daughter. You're eating my pulled pork and that's final. She disappears into the kitchen, and I hear the oven door opening. Howard. Set another place. Yes, dear. Dad's voice comes from somewhere deeper in the house, resigned and familiar. I step inside and the house hits me like a wall of cinnamon, butter, and warm nostalgia designed specifically to lower my defenses. There's garland on the banister, the smell of pot roast in the air, and Nat King Cole playing softly in the background like we're inside a snow globe sponsored by Cracker Barrel. Same as ever, I mutter under my breath, kicking off my boots and shedding my coat like a reluctant guest star in a holiday episode of someone else's life. Jules' right behind me, and of course my mom's already handing him a dish towel like he's a member of the family drafted into dinner prep. Oh, no need to just stand there here, stir the gravy, she says, sliding a pan toward him. And he does. Of course he does. Because Jules Hayes is the kind of guy who stirs gravy without protest, who helps clean up after dinner without being asked, who gets recruited into holiday logistics like he's been pre-approved for access. I hover in the entryway, unsure whether to flee upstairs or just roll with it. Grandma gives me a little nudge with her elbow, catching my eye. You all right? I shrug. Just adjusting. To what? To the fact that nothing here has changed and somehow everything feels different. She hums like she understands more than she lets on and takes another sip of her bootleg eggnog. That's just called being a grown-up, sugar. I make my way into the kitchen, where Jules is standing at the stove like he was born there, sleeves rolled, stirring gravy like he's auditioning for Southern Husband of the Year. My mom's got him talking about flooring materials now, something about oak versus engineered wood, and he's nodding along like he didn't just drive 2 hours with my emotional baggage bouncing around in the back seat with my suitcase. I hover at the counter, arms crossed. Do you always follow up airport pickups with manual labor and gravy-based chores? He grins. Only when I get invited to dinner by a very persuasive woman with excellent casserole. My mother beams. See? He gets it. I mutter, cult behavior, under my breath and start peeling an orange from the fruit bowl out of pure social anxiety. Didn't you just say you haven't eaten anything except airport pretzels and caffeine for 12 hours? Jules says, reaching past me for a potholder. His arm brushes mine warm, steady, annoyingly solid, and I try not to flinch like a teenager in a YA romance novel. This isn't eating, I say, waving the half-peeled orange. This is stalling. Stalling from what? I pause. Look around at the kitchen, the soft yellow light, the clink of cutlery, the smell of my childhood. Then back at Jules, who is looking at me with those maddeningly kind eyes like he actually cares about the answer. Everything, I say finally, peeling another slice. All of it. Jules doesn't laugh. Doesn't tease. Just nods like that makes perfect sense. You want me to fake a plumbing emergency and sneak you out the back door? I do laugh then, short and surprised. You'd do that for me? He shrugs. I'd do worse. That answer lands somewhere deep in my chest where it doesn't belong. I'm not doing this, I remind myself. I'm not getting pulled into the twinkly lights and flannel emotional trap that is Jules Hayes. Except he just made me laugh. And he is already halfway to winning over my entire family. Again. And I hate how good it feels to be seen. Damn it. Jules Hayes. I've been to more dinners at the Sinclair house than I can count. Chicken and dumpling nights, birthday parties, Sunday lunches after church, even that one time I showed up with a busted hand and Ms. Linda fed me a full plate of meatloaf while patching me up like I was her second son. It was always through Ethan, of course. Me and him been tighter than bark on a tree since we were knee-high, and the Sinclair house might as well have been my second home back then. Still kind of feels like that, honestly. Same wallpaper, same smell of cinnamon and lemon cleaner, same mismatched casserole dishes stacked high on the table like no one even considered portion control. Miss Sinclair Linda, she knows everything about me. She still asks about my mama bursitis and always remembers how I like my cornbread no sugar, thank you very much. She keeps tabs on my brother Danny's kids like she is their honorary granny, and she once told me, point blank, that if I didn't start dating seriously by 35, she was gonna do something about it, which I assume meant aggressive matchmaking disguised as innocent dinner invites. And I know this family just as well. I know Mr. Sinclair Howard likes his pot roast with extra gravy and pretends he doesn't just to keep up appearances. He gets talkative when the Braves are doing well and nostalgic when they're not. I know Grandma Eileen drink 2 glasses of special eggnog and fall asleep on the couch halfway through Wheel of Fortune, her cardigan pulled up like a blanket and her hand still wrapped around the remote like she's guarding national secrets. And I know Charlotte. Used to be, she'd sit at the edge of the table, napkin folded in her lap all neat, voice sharp as a tack and 3 steps ahead of the room. She always knew what was going on in the world, didn't mind ruffling feathers if it meant speaking the truth. I remember her arguing with Ethan about school board policies at 15 like she was ready to march on Washington right then and there. But she always talked to me different. Softer, sometimes. Not that she ever flirted or nothing, Charlotte's never been the flirtin' type. But I remember the way she looked at me when I fixed the loose hinge on the back door one summer. Like maybe I was more than just the guy who used to shoot bottle rockets off the roof with her brother. And now she is back, sitting at the same table, hair pulled up in that messy bun she always did when she was thinking hard. She is wearing jeans and a sweater and she still smells like citrus and something crisp, clean like the city hasn't rubbed off all the way. Her makeup has faded a little from the long day, but I swear she looks better like this than she did in any of those glossy New York photos Ethan sent me from her press awards. The kicker? She is treating me exactly the same as always. Like I'm still just Jules. Friendly Jules. Good old Jules who fixes cars and carries bags and knows his way around a power drill. She smiled at me during dinner, made a few smart comments about town politics, laughed at one of my dumb jokes about the pie being so good I wanted to marry it, but it's the same look she has always given me. The "you're part of the furniture" look. She don't see it. Doesn't he see me? Not really. Not the way I see her. And Lord help me, it doesn't matter how many years go by, I still want to make her laugh. I still want her to look at me like I'm not just Ethan's tag-along best friend, but something else. Something more. But that's the problem, isn't it? She is Charlotte Sinclair. And I'm Jules Hayes. And no matter how many biscuits I serve or how many late-night drives I offer, I'm still just the guy who kept her brother out of trouble and never said a damn thing when I should be. I watch her now, helping clear the table with her mom, sleeves pushed up, mouth tilted into that half smirk that means she is already planning a snappy comeback. And my chest hurts in that dumb, slow way it always does when I'm around her too long. She is still the same Charlotte. After dessert, Ms. Linda's pecan pie that could make a grown man weep and another hour of talking about everything from the new stoplight on Main Street to whether or not the Hendersons are gonna repaint their shutters this year, I finally start making my way toward the door. Jules, you take some of this pie home to your mama, Ms. Linda insists, already pin up half the remaining pie in foil like I got any say in the matter. And tell her I expect to see her at book club next week. We're discussing that scandalous romance novel Janet picked, and I need backup. Yes ma'am, I sure will. I take the foil-wrapped bundle, warm in my hands. Though I gotta warn you, Mama S probably gonna have opinions about Janet S book choices. That's exactly why I need her there. Ms. Linda pats my cheek like I'm still 12 years old. You're a good boy, Jules. Drive safe now, you hear? Always do, Ms. Linda. Mr. Sinclair Howard pulls himself up from his recliner with a grunt, extending his hand for a shake that turns into one of those half-hug, back-pat things men do when they're too emotional to just say it outright. Can't thank you enough for today, son. You really saved our bacon with that airport run. Ah, it weren't nothin', Mr. Sinclair. I clasp his shoulder. You know I'm always happy to help out. Sides, gave me an excuse to get out to helpin' Mama rearrange her china cabinet for the 3rd time this month. He chuckles, low and warm. Well, we appreciate it all the same. You're good people, Jules. Always have been. Grandma Eileen S. still parked in her spot on the couch, eggnog glass empty but her eyes sharp as ever behind her wire-rimmed spectacles. She gives me a little wave with her fingers, that knowin' smile playin' at the corners of her mouth. By now, Julian. You come back and see us real soon, why here? Don't be a stranger just 'cause Christmas is over. No ma'am, I wouldn't dream of it. I tip an imaginary hat at her, which makes her laugh that soft, cracklin' sound like dried leaves in autumn. That's my boy. Now get on before Linda tries to send you home with the whole damn kitchen. I'm halfway out the door, pie in hand and goodbyes said, when I hear footsteps behind me on the hardwood. Light, quick ID know that walk anywhere. Jules, wait up a second. I turn, and there's Charlotte, slipping out onto the porch behind me. She has pulled a cardigan over her sweater now, arms wrapped around herself against the December chill. The porch light catches her hair, turns it all golden brown and soft, and for a second I forget how to form words like a damn fool. She pulls the door mostly shut behind her, not all the way, just enough that we got some privacy, but her folks won't think anything improper going on. Smart. Charlotte S. always been smart about things like that. Hey, I say, smooth as sandpaper. Real articulate, Jules. Gold star. Hey. She steps closer, and I catch that citrus smell again mixed with something warm and sweet, probably from helping her mama with the pie. I wanted to say thanks again. For picking me up today. I know that was a long drive, and you didn't have to do that. Charlotte, seem on now. I shift the pie to my other hand, gripping it like it's the only thing keeping me grounded. It weren't no trouble at all. I was happy to do it. Still. It was really kind of you. She tucks a strand of hair behind her ear. There it is, that gesture that's been unraveling me since we were kids, and looks up at me with those eyes that always been too clever by half. And that fried chicken? At Billy S? That was really great. You were right about it being life-changing. I can't help but grin at that. Told you. Billy don't mess around when it comes to chicken. Man an artist with a deep fryer. She laughs, soft and genuine, and it does something to my chest that probably ain't legal in most states. I missed that, you know. Places like Billy S. Where people actually care about what they're making, even if it's just gas station food. Ain't just gas station food, I protest, putting a hand over my heart like she wounded me. That's premium gas station food. There's a difference. Oh, forgive me. Premium gas station food. She is smilin' now, really smilin', and Lord have mercy, I'd drive to Charleston and back every day for the rest of my life if it meant seeing her smile like that. I'll make sure to note that in my mental catalog of Southern delicacies. You do that. I lean against the porch railin', trying to look casual even though my heart's hammering like I just ran a marathon. Anyway, she says, brushing a bit of lint off her sleeve like it needs to be somewhere to land, will I see you at Christmas? She doesn't look at me right away, just off toward the yard where the lights from inside spill onto the porch like a soft spotlight. Her voice is a little too casual. Like she's trying not to make it a thing. But it feels like a thing. I know Grandma invited you, she adds, eyes finally meeting mine. And I'm sure you and Ethan want to do something. Why no catch up? I shift my weight a little, pie still tucked under my arm like a baby I'm afraid to drop. Yeah, Ethan. I trail off without meaning to, staring down at the floorboards like they might offer up a good excuse. She tilts her head, just a bit, that familiar Sinclair curiosity coming to the surface. What? I let out a quiet breath, scratching the back of my neck like I always do when I'm buying time to be honest without making a mess of it. Ain't nothing bad, I say finally, lifting my eyes to hers. Me and Ethan were still solid. Always will be. Charlotte nods, slow and expectant. She ain't in a rush to fill the silence, just lets it sit there, warm and patient, like she knows there's more and she's waiting for me to untangle it myself. I smile, a little sheepish. I don't know. We're in different lanes now, I guess. He's got diapers and swim lessons and them little snacks in plastic bags, and I'm still trying to figure out if I left my tape measure in the truck or the garage. She huffs a soft laugh. Yeah, I get that. He's married. Got kids now. Whole different orbit. I nod, shift my weight against the porch post. And you will. You stopped tagging along after a while. Used to pester me about those root beer lollipops I always had in my pocket. Wouldn't he leave me alone until I gave you one? That gets a real smile out of her, bright and a little crooked, like she wasn't expecting it. I learned to leave you be, Jules, she says. And something about the way she says my name like that, low and warm, like it's familiar and brand new at the same time, makes me stop dead in my boots. I blink. Why do you do that? She hesitates, just a second, then looks down at her hands, thumb rubbing across the hem of her sleeve like she's thinking hard. Because her voice is softer now. Because you were my brother's best friend. And I was just his little sister. She says it like it's the simplest thing in the world. Like it ain't a sentence that's been echoing in my own head for years. I swallow, my voice coming out rougher than I meant it to. You weren't ever just anything to me, Charlotte. She looks up at that, really looks, and I swear the air between us changes right then and there. Like somebody flipped a switch and the world got quieter, softer. Like maybe for the first time we're finally speaking the same language. And Lord help me, she looks so dang pretty in this porch light. Not dolled up or trying to be. Just her. Brown hair tucked behind one ear, brown eyes looking a little too deep into mine, that one little mole at the corner of her mouth I used to stare at in high school and pretend I wasn't. She's real, and she's right here, and for a second I forget how to breathe. Well, she starts, eyes flicking away like she's trying to pull herself back from the edge. That was a long time ago. Her voice is soft, but it lands heavy. I ain't sure if it's a full stop or just a pause, so I wait. And I just wanted to say thanks, she adds, standing up a little straighter. For bringing me home. That was really sweet of you. I nod, heart pounding like I'm standing on a cliff and don't know whether to jump or back away. Sure, I say, trying to keep it easy, even though nothing about her feels easy right now. No problem. Happy to. She nods too, arms wrapped around herself now, not cold, exactly, just guarded. Night, Jules, she says, tending toward the door. But I can't just let her walk off like that. Not yet. Not when we were almost saying something. Hey, Charlotte? I call out, quiet but sure. She pauses on the threshold, hand on the doorknob, and glances back. Yeah? I shift the pie to one arm and scratch the back of my neck, smiling like a fool who is half hopeful, half terrified. I meant what I said. You weren't ever just Ethan's little sister. Not to me. You were always, you. She doesn't answer right away, but I see her lips part just a little, her breath hitchin'. And then she gives me this look, small, soft, like she's seeing me with new eyes and ain't quite sure what to do with the picture. Night, Jules, she says again, a little quieter this time. But this time it feels different. Like maybe goodnight ain't the end of the sentence. She slips inside, door closing behind her with a soft click. The porch light hums above me, throwing long shadows across the steps, and I just stand there for a second, breathing in the scent of pine and pie and something else I can't name. That girl's got me tied up in knots I ain't even mad about. I glance down at the pie in my hands, smile tugging at my lips. Night, Charlotte, I whisper to the empty air, like maybe she can still hear me through the door. Then I step off the porch, head down the walk, and try real hard not to grin like a man who is finally starting to believe his timing might not be so bad after all. Charlotte Sinclair. I woke up on the 23rd of December with my mom already in a mood, which is just perfect. Because nothing says welcome home like being jolted awake at 7 a.m. by the sound of aggressive vacuuming directly outside my childhood bedroom door. The bedroom that still has purple wallpaper from 2003. Purple. With little silver butterflies that were very trendy when I was 15 and are now a monument to questionable life choices. There's also a Gossip Girl poster on the back of my door, Blair Waldorf staring me down like she's judging my current life trajectory, and a corkboard still covered in dried corsages and ticket stubs from a homecoming dance I barely remember. It's like sleeping in a time capsule of my own adolescent delusions. The kind where I thought graduating high school was the hardest thing I'd ever do, and that New York would be full of glamorous parties and men in expensive suits who quoted literature over coffee. Spoiler alert, it's mostly aggressive subway commuters and dates with guys whose idea of culture is having seen The Godfather twice. And to make matters worse, I spent the entire night replaying Jules' words on a loop like some kind of emotional masochist. You weren't ever just anything to me, Charlotte. Just lying there. Staring at the glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling. Yes, they're still there. Yes, they still glow, thinking about the way he said my name. Low and rough and way too sincere for a man who should absolutely not be allowed to say things like that on dimly lit porches while holding my mother's pecan pie. You were always, you. I mean, what am I supposed to do with that? File it under things that would be changed my entire life if he said them 10 years ago? Add it to my mental list of regrets I definitely don't have time for? Because I don't. I have a career. A life. An apartment in Brooklyn that costs more per month than most people's car payments, and an inbox full of emails from my editor asking why I haven't filed my follow-up piece on the zoning commission scandal. I do not have time to lie awake at 32 years old, heart doing stupid little flips because Jules Hayes, who once ate an entire sleeve of Oreos on a dare and then threw up in my mother's hydrangeas, looked at me like I was something worth waiting for. Nope. Not doing it. Except I did do it. For approximately 6 hours. While staring at those stupid glow-in-the-dark stars and wondering if he's also lying awake in whatever annoyingly charming house he probably owns, thinking about me. Which is ridiculous. He's probably asleep. Normal people sleep. They don't spiral into existential crises over porch conversations and half-finished sentences that felt like promises. The vacuum shuts off abruptly, and I hear my mother's voice through the door, bright and aggressively cheerful in that way that means she's already had 2 cups of coffee and a full list of tasks she expects me to complete. Charlotte Rose. I know you're awake. We've got the cookie exchange at 11 and you still need to shower and pick out something appropriate. I pull the pillow over my face and groan into it like a teenager. Which, given my current surroundings, feels depressingly on brand. I'm up. I call back, voice muffled by flannel and regret. Well, get up. And wear something with a collar. Susan Henderson will be there and you know how she talks. Yes. I know exactly how Susan Henderson talks. With her eyes. Judgmentally. While asking pointed questions about my love life and whether I've considered settling down before it's too late. I'm 32, Susan. Not deceased. I throw off the cover's flowered quilt, naturally, because my mother believes in thematic consistency, and swing my legs out of bed. My feet hit the cold hardwood and I immediately regret every life choice that led me back to this room, this town, this moment. My phone buzzes on the nightstand. Probably Harrison, my editor, with another passive-aggressive text about deadlines. Or my friend Rachel in New York, asking if I've been abducted by Southern hospitality yet. I grab it, squinting at the screen. Ethan, Mom said you're going to the cookie thing. Want me to swing by after and save you from the church ladies? I snort. My brother, the hero. 35 years old, 2 kids, and still the only person in this family who understands that sometimes you need an exit strategy from your own relatives. Me, please. Bring wine. And a fake emergency. Ethan, Ashley's got a casserole in the oven. I'll say it's smoking. Classic. Me, you're my favorite sibling. Ethan, I'm your only sibling. Me, point stands. I toss my phone back on the bed and head for the bathroom, catching a glimpse of myself in the mirror. Hair everywhere. Yesterday's mascara smudged under one eye. The faint crease from my pillowcase still visible on my cheek. Extremely attractive. Definitely the look of a woman who has her life together and is not spiraling over a guy she hasn't seen in 5 years. I splash cold water on my face and try to summon some semblance of professional composure. I'm an investigative journalist, for God's sake. I've interviewed corrupt officials, uncovered fraud, written stories that got people fired and policies changed. I can handle a church cookie exchange. And I can definitely handle seeing Jules Hayes again without turning into a blushing, fumbling disaster. Probably. Maybe. Damn it. I stare at my reflection, water dripping off my chin, and give myself a stern internal pep talk. You are Charlotte Sinclair. You are smart, accomplished, and fully capable of being normal around a man who once helped you study for chemistry and definitely did not look at you the way you thought he did because you were 17 and delusional. Except he did say you weren't just anything to him. Which means nothing. Probably. I groan again and reach for my toothbrush. This is going to be a long week. The Magnolia Creek First Baptist Church Fellowship Hall looks exactly like it did when I was 16 and forced to attend youth group. Fluorescent lights that make everyone look vaguely jaundiced, folding tables covered in plastic Christmas tablecloths, and approximately 40 women in various stages of holiday-induced stress wearing their nice jeans and sweaters with actual jingle bells sewn onto them. I'm wearing a cream cable knit sweater and dark jeans, what I thought was a safe, neutral choice until my mother looked me up and down in the driveway and said, "Well, at least you don't look like you just rolled out of a news van." High praise. Mama's already in full social mode, air kissing her way through the crowd with a Tupperware container of her famous snickerdoodles held aloft like a trophy. I trail behind her, clutching my own pathetic contribution store-bought shortbread cookies I panic bought at the Piggly Wiggly this morning and arranged on a plate to look homemade. They don't look homemade. Charlotte Sinclair. Oh my word, is that really you? I turn to find Janet Bledsoe bearing down on me, arms already outstretched for a hug I didn't consent to. She's wearing a sweater with a three-dimensional Christmas tree on it. It has actual ornaments dangling from the branches. When she moves, she jingles. "Hi, Mrs. Bledsoe," I say, accepting the hug because refusing would cause a scene. She smells like cinnamon and hairspray and something floral that's probably been her signature scent since 1987. Look at you. All grown up and fancy. She holds me at arm's length, examining me like I'm livestock at the county fair. Your mama says you're writin' for some big newspaper up north. That must be so excitin'. It keeps me busy, I say, which is my default non-answer for these conversations. I bet it does. Though I have to say, honey, you look a little tired. Are they working you too hard up there? Her eyes narrow with concern that feels more like curiosity. You taking care of yourself? Translation, you look terrible, and I'm going to tell everyone you look terrible. I'm fine, Mrs. Bledsoe. Just adjusting to being back. Well, you just make sure you're getting enough sleep and eatin' right. City food isn't like home cookin', you know. She pats my arm. Now, what do you bring for the exchange? I hold up my plate of store-bought shame. Shortbread. She peers at them, and I swear I see her nostrils flare slightly. How simple. Did you make them yourself? Yep, I lie, smiling so hard my face hurts. Old family recipe. She doesn't believe me for a second. Well, you just set those on the table over there with the other contributions. We're doing the exchange at 11:30, and then Pastor Mike's gonna say a few words about the true meaning of Christmas. Of course he is. I escape to the cookie table, which is already groaning under the weight of what appears to be every baked good in a 50-mile radius. There are sugar cookies shaped like snowmen, gingerbread houses that probably took actual architectural planning, fudge in at least 6 different varieties, and something called Aunt Carol's peppermint bark surprise that looks like it could double as a weapon. I set my pathetic shortbread between a plate of homemade truffles and what I think might be a gingerbread nativity scene, complete with tiny frosting baby Jesus. Those from the Piggly Wiggly? I jump and turn to find Grandma Eileen standing behind me, eyebrows raised, a knowing smirk on her face. She's wearing a cardigan covered in embroidered reindeer and holding a glass of what is definitely not just punch. How did you? Sugar, I've lived in this town for 86 years. You think I don't know what the Piggly Wiggly-esque shortbread looks like? She takes a sip of her spiked punch. Same rectangular shape every time. Dead giveaway. Please don't tell Mom. Your mama knows. She's just choosing to ignore it because at least you showed up. Grandma pats my shoulder. Though between you and me, you could have made a little effort. Even those slice and bake ones would have been better than store-bought. I didn't have time. Because you were too busy thinking about Julian Hayes on your mama's front porch last night? I nearly choke on my own saliva. I wasn't. Oh honey, please. I was watchin' from the window. She grins like the cat who got the canary. And before you get all worked up, I wasn't spyin'. I was just observin'. Making sure everything was appropriate. Nothing happened. I know. That's the problem. She takes another sip of her punch. That boy's been carryin' a torch for you since high school, and you're both still dancin' around it like a couple of fools. Grandma. Don't grandma me. I'm old, not blind. She gestures toward the crowd with her glass. Life is too short for all this tiptoeing around. Trust me. I've been married twice and buried 'em both. If I'd spent all my time worryin' about what was appropriate or complicated, I'd have missed out on a whole lot of livin'. Before I can respond to that deeply uncomfortable piece of wisdom, Susan Henderson appears like a heat-seeking missile locked onto its target. Charlotte Sinclair. I heard you were back in town. Susan S. wearing a crisp white blouse, pressed khakis, and a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. She is holding a plate of what look like professionally decorated sugar cookies, each one a perfect replica of a Christmas ornament, complete with intricate frosting details and edible glitter. Of course they are. Hi, Mrs. Henderson, I say, already bracing myself. It's so good to see you, sweetheart. Your mother must be just thrilled to have you home. She air kisses near my cheek without actually making contact. How long has it been? 5 years? I was here in August. Oh, that's right. That quick little visit. Barely even counted, did it? She laughs like she has said something charming instead of mildly insulting. But you're here for a whole week this time. How wonderful. Maybe you'll actually have time to catch up with people. Reconnect with old friends. Her eyes flick meaningfully across the room, and I follow her gaze to see. Oh no. Jules Hayes. Standing near the coffee station, wearing jeans and a dark green Henley that should be illegal, talking to Pastor Mike and looking unfairly good for 11 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. His hair is still damp like he just showered, and he has got that easy smile on his face, the one that makes him look like he doesn't have a care in the world. My stomach does a traitorous little flip. Jules Hayes is such a nice young man, Susan continues, her voice dripping with intention. So responsible. Took over his daddy's business, helps out at church, always so polite. And still single, can you imagine? In this town, that's practically a miracle. I force my eyes back to Susan, trying to look casual instead of like I was just caught staring. Is that right? Oh yes. I keep telling him he needs to settle down, find a nice girl, start a family. He is 33 now, not getting any younger. She pauses meaningfully. Neither are you, I suppose. And there it is. I'm 32, I say, keeping my voice pleasant even though I'm imagining dropping her perfect sugar cookies on the floor. Still plenty of time. Oh, of course. I didn't mean she touches my arm in that way Southern women do when they're about to say something they absolutely did mean. It's just, you know how it is. Once you get into your 30s, things get a little more complicated. Especially for women in demanding careers. Translation, your biological clock is ticking and you're going to die alone with your journalism awards. I appreciate your concern, Mrs. Henderson, but I'm doing just fine. I'm sure you are. And there's nothing wrong with focusing on your career. Why, my niece and Charlotte did the same thing, and she didn't get married until she was almost 40. They had to do that thing, what's it called? IVF? Cost a fortune, but they got twins out of it, so I suppose it worked out. She smiles like she has just delivered good news. So you've still got options. Grandma Eileen snorts into her punch. I'm about to excuse myself possibly forever, possibly to go live in a cave where no one asks about my reproductive timeline when I hear my mother's voice ring out across the fellowship hall. All right, ladies. And gentlemen. She nods toward Jules and Pastor Mike, the only two men brave enough to be here. Let us get this exchange started. Everyone grab a plate and form a line. The room erupts into organized chaos as 40 women converge on the cookie table like it's Black Friday at Target. I get swept up in the crowd, losing sight of both Susan Henderson and my escape route. I'm reaching for a chocolate crinkle cookie. At least if I'm trapped here, I'm getting sugar out of it when I feel someone step up beside me. Fancy seeing you here. I don't even have to look to know it's Jules. I can smell that pine and soap scent that apparently hasn't changed since high school, and my traitorous nervous system responds like Pavlov's dog hearing a bell. Jules. I turn, cookie in hand, trying to look surprised instead of like I've been hyper-aware of his presence since the moment he walked in. What are you doing here? I didn't think cookie exchanges were really your scene. He grins, reaching past me for a snickerdoodle. They're not. But Mama's on the planning committee and she guilted me into helping set up the tables this morning. Figured I might as well stay for the free cookies. That's the only reason you're here? Free cookies? Well, that and your grandma promised me their DB entertainment. His eyes flick meaningfully toward where Susan Henderson is currently engaged in what looks like a heated discussion with Janet Bledsoe about proper frosting techniques. She wasn't wrong. I bite back a smile. Grandma's sense of entertainment is questionable at best. I don't know. I'm pretty entertained right now. There is something in the way he says it light and teasing but with an undercurrent that feels like last night's porch conversation is still hanging between us like static electricity. I clear my throat and grab another cookie, just to have something to do with my hands. So, your mom's on the planning committee? Has been for about 20 years. She takes it very seriously. Their essay binder. He is still smiling, still standing a little too close, and I'm suddenly very aware that we're in a room full of women who have nothing better to do than gossip about who is standing next to whom at the cookie table. Of course their essay binder. Color-coded tabs and everything. He takes a bite of his snickerdoodle, and I definitely don't watch his jaw work as he chews. Definitely not. So how you holding up? Get enough sleep last night? The question seems innocent, but there is something in his tone that makes me think he knows exactly how much sleep I didn't get. Fine, I lie. Like a baby. A baby that stayed up all night crying? Huh. Hilarious. I grab a napkin and start loading it with cookies I definitely don't need. I slept great, actually. Very restful. Didn't think about anything at all. That right. Yep. Just, pure, dreamless sleep. In my childhood bedroom. With the purple wallpaper and Gossip Girl poster. Why did I say that? Why did I give him that detail? What is wrong with me? His grin widens. You still got that poster? It's Blair Waldorf. She is timeless. If you say so. He is laughing now, soft and warm, and I hate that it makes me want to laugh too. Though I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed you didn't mention the glow-in-the-dark stars. I freeze. How do you know about the stars? Charlotte, I've been in your room. My brain short-circuits. You what? Relax. He is definitely enjoying this. Back in high school. Ethan and I used to raid your room for snacks when you weren't home. You had that stash of Twizzlers in your desk drawer. You stole my Twizzlers? Borrowed. Temporarily. Without permission. He shrugs, completely unrepentant. And I definitely noticed the stars. Kind of hard to miss. There's gotta be at least 100 of them up there. 47, I mutter. And they came in a kit. It was a phase. A cute phase. My cheeks are burning now, and I absolutely cannot be having this conversation here right in the middle of the First Baptist Fellowship Hall, under fluorescent lights and the judgmental gaze of every woman who has been mentally updating the town's gossip spreadsheet since I walked through the door. I gotta go, I blurt, fumbling for a plausible excuse. I also have to find a new dress because my mother deemed mine not Christmassy enough, which is apparently code for you look like a divorced tax attorney at a wake. So. Jules raises a brow, amused. Oh yeah? You headin' up to Maine, then? I pause, mid-cookie grab. Because here's the thing about Magnolia Creek, nothing as close, nothing as convenient, and the only way to get to Main Street where the stores are is to either own a car, borrow one, or wait an hour and a half for the sad little town bus that smells like mildew and shattered dreams. I was gonna Uber, I say, instantly regretting it. Jules lets out a low chuckle, one of those deep, easy laughs that vibrates in his chest and makes me feel unreasonably warm. Uber, he repeats, grinning like I just told him I planned to teleport. Charlotte, darlin', there's exactly one Uber driver in this whole town, and his name is Chuck Mathers. He drives a 2008 points cruiser with a busted muffler and a Jesus fish sticker, and he don't work past 3 unless it's to pick up his grandkids or a fried catfish plate from Norma S. Oh. Yeah. And between you and me, Chuck don't like driving in weather below 50. Says it stiffens up his sciatica. He flashes a crooked grin. You're more likely to summon a unicorn than a rideshare outta here today. I sigh, exasperated. God, I forgot how efficient this town is. Well now, I wouldn't call it efficient, exactly. But it's got personality. That's one word for it. I pinch the bridge of my nose. Okay, great. So I'm stranded here in Jingle Bell Purgatory with a bunch of sugar-fueled southern women and no escape route. Excellent. Jules steps in a little closer, just enough to lower his voice. You know, I could drive you. I glance up, suspicious. To the boutique? No, to the moon, he deadpants, eyes sparkling. Yes, to the boutique. Claire S. place, right? She S. got those fancy candles and sweaters that cost more than my truck's monthly insurance. I was going to overpay for a dress and then silently spiral on the way home in a poorly ventilated Uber, yes. Well, I can offer you a ride and ventilation. Truck's got great heat, radio works most of the time, and I promise not to ask about your career, your relationship status, or why you look like you're 5 seconds away from body checking Susan Henderson into the cookie table. That last part was starting to feel like a real possibility. I figured. He shrugs, casual. Come on, Charlotte. Let me help. I hesitate. It's a simple offer. A ride. No strings. No pressure. Just Jules Hayes being Jules. All warm smile and good intentions in flannel and denim. And I absolutely should say no. I should keep my distance. I should maintain firm, emotional boundaries and remind myself I have a perfectly good life in New York that doesn't include slow smiles and soft accents and helpful boys who used to be just your brother's best friend until suddenly they weren't. But instead. Fine. He grins, victorious. That's the spirit. But if this ends with us accidentally running into half my graduating class and someone asking if we're dating, I'm faking a call from work and jumping out of your moving truck. Fair warning, I do drive slow, he says with a wink. You'll only get a mild concussion. Perfect. Just perfect. Magnolia Creek, where the cookies are homemade, the gossip travels faster than cell service, and your high school almost crush offers you a ride like it's no big deal even though your heart is definitely doing something very stupid in your chest. Awesome. Just peachy. Let the emotional landmines continue. Jules Hayes. I shouldn't be this excited about going to a boutique. Hell, I don't even know what a boutique is half the time. Sounds fancy, sounds like the kind of place where they got those little satin couches and everything smells like vanilla and money. But the moment Charlotte said she needed some stupid dress, I about jumped on that opportunity like a dog on a dropped biscuit. Driving her around. Watching her pick something out. Maybe helping her decide between colors or whatever it is people do when they shop for fancy clothes. Just talking to me. Even if she's still trying real hard to put me in that brother's best friend box like I'm something safe and familiar she can ignore. She has always been cute when she does that. That little furrow between her brows when she's thinking too hard. The way she crosses her arms like she's building a fortress out of sarcasm and self-preservation. The way she says my name Jules all casual like, but there's this edge to it now. Like maybe she's starting to notice I ain't just Ethan's shadow anymore. And Lord have mercy, when she gets all flustered? When her cheeks go pink and she starts mumbling about Gossip Girl posters and glow-in-the-dark stars like she didn't just hand me the sweetest piece of ammunition I've had in years? Yeah. I'm gone. Completely gone. I follow her out of the fellowship hall, nodding at folks as we pass. Mrs. Bledsoe gives me a look, the kind that says she has already drafted the email to the prayer chain. And Grandma Eileen raises her spiked punch in a little salute like she knows exactly what's happening and approves wholeheartedly. Charlotte's ahead of me, walking fast like she's trying to outrun the gossip, but I catch up easy. Got longer legs, and besides, she's wearing boots with a heel that click on the tile in a way that makes it real easy to follow. You in a hurry? I ask, falling into step beside her. No, she says, too quick. Just eager to get this over with. Dress shopping ain't that bad, is it? Jules, I once spent 4 hours in a Bloomingdale's trying to find a blazer that didn't make me look like a divorced real estate agent. Trust me. It's that bad. I laugh, pushing open the door for her as we step outside into the crisp December air. The parking lot is half full, trucks and sedans scattered across the gravel, and my Ford S parked near the back where I always leave it out of the way, where I won't block anybody in. Well, lucky for you, Claire S boutique ein Bloomingdale's, I say, digging my keys out of my pocket. She has got maybe 30 dresses total, half of them are the same thing in different colors, and if you take longer than 20 minutes, she'll start suggesting things herself just to speed you along. Charlotte snorts. Sounds efficient. She runs a tight ship. I click the unlock button and jog ahead to open her door before she can beat me to it. After you, ma'am. She pauses, looking at me with that expression half amused, half exasperated, like she can't decide if I'm charming or ridiculous. You know I'm capable of opening my own door, right? Oh, I'm well aware. I hold it open, grinning. But my mama raised me with manners, and she'd have my hide if I didn't at least offer. Your mama's not here. Don't matter. She's got eyes everywhere. I'm pretty sure Mrs. Bledsoe reports back to her weekly. That gets a real laugh out of her, bright and surprised, and she shakes her head as she climbs into the truck. I shut her door gentle as ever, then swing around and slide behind the wheel, heart thumping just a little louder than it ought to be from a simple laugh. But Lord, that laugh, it's still ringing in my ears like a song I didn't know I missed till I heard it again. We pull out the church lot slow, tires crunching gravel, and settle into the kind of quiet that don't beg to be filled. Charlotte's staring out the window, tucking it all in. She's got this look about her, part curious, part sentimental, part like she's expecting Magnolia Creek to apologize for not standing still while she was gone. She's not saying much, but I can tell her brain's churning. Folks change, but that girl? She's still the same one who used to stare out the window of homeroom like she was already halfway gone. I glance over, thumb tapping the wheel. So this newspaper job up in New York. You like it? She keeps her eyes forward, but I see her shoulders twitch just a little. I like journalism, she says, real matter of fact. There's just more to cover in New York, why no? More stories. More mess. More everything. I nod slow, pretending like I get it. I don't. Not really. Closest I come to that kind of mess is trying to schedule subcontractors who all want to work the same job at the same time. But she gets it. And that's enough for me to want to get it too. And the hours? I ask, I still on the road but my smile curled easy on my lips. Your mama said you work about 27 hours a day, 7 days a week. That gets a snort out of her. Yeah, well, she's not wrong. I could use more sleep, but you'll never catch me admitting that to her. I let out a warm chuckle, low in my throat. Yeah, we can't be giving Linda Sinclair another victory. She's already undefeated in holiday guilt and casserole persuasion. Charlotte huffs out a real laugh, the kind that shakes off a little of her tension. But like, I go on, voice softer now, you ever think 'bout writing those stories somewhere else? Somewhere with a little more elbow room and a little less subway rage? She don't answer right away. Kinda stares out the windshield like she is seeing something I can't. Eventually, she says, quiet now. As much as I love the work, there's a shelf life to it. I can't picture myself still there at 40, trying to pretend paper-thin apartment walls and sirens at 2 a.m. don't bother me. I hum low, thinking on that. You want peace, I say, more a realization than a question. She glances at me. I want quiet. The good kind. Not the kind where nothing happens. Just, where it matters when it does. I nod again, slow and sure. We got that kind of quiet here. The kind that means something. You can still hear the train from the next county over when the wind's right, but most nights it's just frogs, and crickets, and maybe Eileen's TV through the window 'cause she forgets to turn it down. That earns a little smile from her, soft around the edges. And hey, I add, bumping her shoulder with mine just a hair, if you ever want to trade apartment sirens for some good OL front porch peace, I know a guy who makes a mean sweet tea and don't charge rent. She gives me a side eye, that stubborn little smirk on her face again. You're bribing me with sweet tea now? Well, I say, grinning, I'm tea above using every tool in my Southern charm arsenal. Besides, I know your weakness, Miss Sinclair. You can take the girl out of Carolina, but she still prefers her tea cold and her biscuits flaky. She tries not to laugh, but fails. I hear it in her throat, warm and unguarded. We pull up to Claire's boutique, tires crunchin' over the gravel real easy, and I spot a handful of ladies already inside probably doing some last-minute holiday shopping before the Christmas Eve madness sets in. Storefront S got one of them chalkboard signs out front with curly letters that say new arrivals, and festive flattering, and there's a little pine wreath hanging on the door, tied up with red plaid ribbon like something off a Hallmark card. I hop out, jog round to open Charlotte's door before she can do it herself, which earns me another of her patented eye rolls that don't hide the smile trying to sneak out at the corner of her mouth. Still thinking I'm ridiculous? I ask, offering her my hand. Always, she mutters, talking it anyway. Claire greets us with a little jingle of the bell, warm lights, and the faint scent of lavender and cedarwood. I tip my hat to a pair of women near the knitwear display, Mrs. Conrad and her daughter, I think, who both look at me, then at Charlotte, then back at me with the kind of raised brow curiosity that says the story's already halfway written in their heads. Charlotte doesn't seem to notice. Or maybe she does, and she's just doing that big city thing where you act like nothing touches you. But I can tell by the way she squares her shoulders just a little, she knows eyes are on her. She starts walking the rack, fingertips skimming fabric like she's looking for something that won't betray her by being too soft or too try hard. Her brow furrows in concentration, same look she used to have studying for finals, back when she sit cross-legged on our porch with a highlighter in one hand and a Twizzler in the other. And hell if I don't still remember how she used to tuck her hair behind her ear when she was reading something real serious. She does it now, same motion, same grace, and I swear my heart skips like a stone across water. She picks out two dresses, one dark green, the other something red with those little fluttery sleeves, and gives me a look over her shoulder. Not a skin for my opinion, just letting me know she saw me watchin'. Then she heads toward the changin' room, hips swaying just enough to make a man thankful for being alive on this particular day in this particular store. Now I try, Lord knows I try, to keep my mind on my business, pretend I'm reading the sign about return policies or studying the price tags on scarves like I might suddenly need a $70 knit triangle for my neck. But my brain has other ideas. She's in that little box now, behind one of them curtains that's barely holding on, and I'm standing out here trying not to imagine her slipping out of that sweater and jeans, bare skin brushing soft against fabric, hair falling down her back. Damn. I reach for one of the display candles and pop the lid like I'm real interested in scents, even though I couldn't tell lavender from lemongrass if my life depended on it. Focus, haze. This ain't that kinda moment. Or at least, it shouldn't be. I'm staring hard at a rack of scarves like they hold the secrets of the universe, trying to think about anything besides the fact that Charlotte Rose Sinclair is behind that little curtain, undressing within arm's reach and probably muttering something under her breath about static cling and price tags. Then I hear her voice, casual but a little unsure, like she's trying not to care what I think but still kinda does. What you think? I glance up. And forget how to function. She steps out in that green dress, the same deep shade as pine needles after a frost, and Lord have mercy. It's got one of them V necklines that dips just enough to show the gentle curve of her chest, not scandalous, just confident. The sleeves cap her shoulders soft, and the way that fabric cinches at her waist and flares out just below her knees. It ain't flashy. It ain't loud. But it's perfect. She looks like Christmas morning and first crushes and every good thing I ever wanted, all wrapped in satin and sass. My ears go hot before my mouth even opens. It's My voice cracks like I'm 13 again. I clear my throat, useless. Charlotte raises a brow, arms folded, weight shifted to one hip like she's bracing herself for a verdict. Jewels? Gorgeous. It tumbles out honest as breath, before I even think to dress it up. She blinks, surprised, like maybe she didn't expect me to say it like that. Like maybe I ain't supposed to notice how beautiful she looks when she ain't tryin'. And then, Lord help me, she flushes just a hint of pink dust in her cheeks. Oh, she says. Just that. Soft. I rub the back of my neck, staring down at that floor tile like it just whispered state secrets. I mean, you always look nice, Charlotte. But that one's something else entirely. She shifts her weight, eyes darting down like maybe she ain't used to being looked at like that, not by me, not here. And when she speaks, her voice is just a hair softer than before, still trying to hold steady, but I can hear the crack around the edges. Alright, while she clears her throat, brows pinch in just a bit as she fusses with the sleeve like it needs adjustin', I'll take this one then. And Lord above, if that little fluster didn't just knock the breath clean out of my lungs. She's got no idea, does she? No clue how pretty she looks standin' there in that dress, cheeks pink, fingers twitchin' like she don't know where to put 'em. No idea that her gettin' shy over one little compliment makes me feel like I could run headfirst through a brick wall and smile the whole way through. I grin big and slow, the kinda grin that sneaks up and settles in deep. Good choice, I say, voice warm. Gonna be real hard concentratin' on cookies with you walkin' around lookin' like Christmas came early. She groans, half Logan as she disappears back behind the curtain, and I hear her mutter something that sounds an awful lot like, "You're impossible." Maybe so. But I'm hers. Even if she don't quite know it yet. She pays for her dress, takes her sweet time at the register while Claire rings her up and makes pleasant conversation about the unseasonably warm weather and whether we're gonna get snow this year. I hang back near the door, hands in my pockets, watchin' Charlotte pull out her credit card with the kinda careful precision that says she is still tryin' to compose herself. Claire catches my eye over Charlotte's shoulder and gives me a little knowing smile, the kind that says I see exactly what's happenin' here, and bless your heart, you got it bad. I just tip my hat and grin back, 'cause what else am I gonna do? Deny it? That ship sailed about 15 years ago. Charlotte takes the garment bag, thanks Claire real polite, and we head back out into the cool December air. The sun is hangin' low now, castin' everything in that golden hour glow that makes Magnolia Creek look like a postcard. Storefronts lit up with white lights, wreaths on every door, couples walkin' hand in hand down the sidewalk with shopping bags and steamin' coffee cups. I opened her truck door again 'cause I got manners and also 'cause I like the little huff of exasperation she makes every single time, and she climbs in without protest this go round. Progress. I jog around to the driver's side, slide behind the wheel, and fire up the engine. The radio kicks on low, playin' some old Patsy Cline Christmas song, and I adjust the heat so it's blowin' warm but not too much. Comfortable? I ask, glannin' over as I pull out of the parkin' spot. Yeah, she says, settlin' back into the seat, garment bag draped carefully across her lap. Her voice is softer now, less guarded. Thanks for driving me. I know you probably had better things to do. I snort. Better than spendin' the afternoon with you? Doubtful. I flash her a grin as I ease onto Main Street. Besides, I got a reputation to uphold. Can't have folks thinkin' I ain't a gentleman. Your reputation is safe, she says dryly. You opened my door, like, 4 times today. Only 4? Shoot, I'm slippin'. That earns me a quiet laugh, the kind that sounds like she's lettin' her guard down just a fraction more. And man, I'm collectin' those laughs like treasures, storin' 'em up for when she's back in New York and I'm here missin' the sound of her voice. We drive in a kind of easy quiet, the kind you don't gotta fill. The kind that says I know you without a word bein' spoken. Truck is hummin' low beneath us, heater blowin' just enough to fog the bottom corners of the windshield. We roll past the elementary school, still got that same chain link fence and them wobbly metal swings that probably should be been replaced 10 years ago. Playground is empty now, but I swear I can still hear echoes of recess screamin' in the air. Then we pass the old Dairy Queen, sittin' stubborn on the corner like it always has, the neon open flickerin' like it's hangin' on by sheer will and electricity. Then the lake turnoff. Lake Magnolia. Man, we used to be something out there. Summer nights, fireflies dancin', all of us swimmin' out past the dock even though our parents told us not to. And her Charlotte Rose Sinclair in cut-off shorts and a tank top, raisin' hell and actin' like the queen of the water. Back then, all I wanted in this whole world was to make her laugh. Still do, if I'm bein' honest. I glance at her now, she's got her hand out the window like she's feelin' the air, fingers twitchin' every now and then like she's tappin' along to a song in her head. The wind is catchin' her hair, blowin' it around her face in a way that makes my chest feel tight. I clear my throat, heart thumpin' louder than the engine. So, you seein' anybody? Back in New York, I mean? I hear it the second it leaves my mouth. Real smooth, Jules. Just real casual. Might as well be written it in sky writin' with how subtle that was. Her head snaps toward me like I just lit something on fire. What? No. Quick. Sharp. Like she's slamming a door on the question before it can settle. And I nod. Too fast. Way too fast. Probably look like one of them dashboard bobbleheads right now, head bouncing around like it ain't properly attached. That's nice. I wince immediately, grip tightening on the wheel. I mean not nice that you ain't that you don't have someone just, I trail off, ears burning hot enough to cook an egg on. Nice that, you're not with anyone who don't deserve you. 'Cause you deserve somebody real good, Tor. Somebody who sees how special you are. She is quiet for a beat, staring at me like I just sprouted a second head. Then she lets out a breath that might be a laugh or maybe just disbelief. You always been this bad at asking questions? I grin, all bashful and warm under the collar, scratching the back of my neck like it might help slow my heartbeat. Only when it's one I actually care about, I say, softer than I meant to, but true all the same. When it's something that matters, my brain kinda short circuits. Goes all fuzzy like an old TV that ain't got good reception. That's when she freezes. Still as a fence post, hand paused mid-fidget on the edge of her coat sleeve. She turns, eyes searching mine, and her voice comes out low, guarded, a little wounded round the edges like I just poked at something tender she's been trying real hard to keep protected. Why are you doing this? I blink, caught off guard. Doing what? You keep saying things. Her brows pull together, and she ain't angry, she's confused, maybe even a little scared. Vulnerable in a way that makes my chest ache. You ask if I'm seeing someone, you keep bringing up how I ain't just Ethan's little sister to you. Why? Her voice wavers, just a bit, and I can see her hands trembling where they're twisted together in her lap. Why are you doing this now? After all this time? I open my mouth, nothing comes out for a second. She is looking at me like I got her heart in my hands and she don't know if I'm gonna hold it careful or drop it right there on the floorboards. I clear my throat, shift in my seat, suddenly feeling like my shirt collar is 3 sizes too small. I ain't never been great at this kinda talk, give me a blueprint or a busted engine and I'm golden, but feelings? That's rough terrain. But hell if she ain't worth trying. Hell if she ain't worth stumbling over every word. Your grandma told me that you liked me. Back in the day. Her eyes widen, and just like that, her face lights up in that bright red blush, cheeks going crimson so fast it makes me blush in sympathy. It spreads down her neck, and she looks like she wants the truck seat to just swallow her whole. I didn't she told you that, she sputters, ducking her head like she is gonna crawl under the dash and disappear into the engine block. Yeah, I say, gently as I can, voice gone soft and careful. She did. Said you used to get all flustered when I came around, which, funny enough, makes 2 of us. I was just better at hiding it, I guess. Or thought I was. Charlotte groans, covering her face with both hands now. Oh my god, she is gonna get a fruit basket full of dynamite for Christmas. I can't believe she. I laugh, can't help it. It bubbles up warm and fond. I think she meant well. She is tired of watching us dance around it for half our lives, I reckon. Probably figured somebody had to light a fire under us, and Lord knows she ain't afraid of stirring the pot. She peeks at me through her fingers, eyes still wide, mortified. There's know it, Jules. I pause, fingers drumming uncertain on the wheel. Her hands drop, and suddenly there's steel in her voice hurt steel. You always saw me as Ethan's sister. You iced me out. That lands heavy, and yeah, okay, I think I did do that. Guilt twists sharp in my gut. It's because we don't mess with your best friend's sister, I start, voice plead in, trying to make her understand. Ethan and me, we got this, code. Brothers before, well, you know. And I didn't want to mess things up with him, or with you, or. So why the fuck now, she interrupts, and her voice cracks just a little, eyes bright and wounded. Why can't you just leave me in that neat little box you built? Ethan's sister. Off limits. Safe. She is breathing hard now, like saying it out loud cost her something. Why you gotta pull me out and say all these things that make me feel like maybe I wasn't crazy for thinking you looked at me different sometimes? My chest tightens, heart hammering. 'Cause I can't, Charlotte. I can't pretend anymore. Oh, you've been pretending for 10 years, why not now? She fires back, and there's pain behind that anger, real, raw pain that makes me want to pull this truck over and fix it somehow, even though I don't know how. Her voice goes quieter, shakier. Why is it suddenly okay now? What changed? You wake up one morning and decide the rules don't matter anymore? That I'm suddenly worth the risk? She turns away, staring hard out the window, but I can see her reflection in the glass, can see the way her jaw is tight, the way she is blinking fast like maybe there is tears she ain't gonna let fall. You don't get to do this, she whispers. You don't get to make me feel 17 again, Jules. I worked hard to get over you. And Lord, that just about breaks me clean in half. I slow the truck, not pulling over but easing off the gas, giving myself a second to think, to breathe, to figure out how to say what I gotta say without making it worse. You're right, I say finally, voice rough and honest. You're absolutely right, Tor. I have been pretending. For way too damn long. She don't look at me, but I can see her shoulders tense. I pretended in high school that I didn't notice when you'd laugh at my stupid jokes. Pretended I didn't look for you in the hallways between classes. Pretended it didn't matter when you left for college and then New York and I just stayed here. I swallow hard, grip tight on the wheel. I pretended 'cause I was scared. Scared Ethan D hate me. Scared you didn't really feel that way. Scared I wasn't good enough for somebody like you, somebody smart and going places while I'm just here, building houses and fixing trucks. My voice drops quieter. But mostly? I was scared that if I told you how I felt and you didn't feel the same, I'd lose you completely. And having you as just Ethan's sister was better than not having you at all. I risk a glance over. She is still staring out the window, but her reflection is softer now, less guarded. So yeah, I continue, words coming easier now, like a dam broke. I kept you in that box. Safe and distant and where I couldn't screw it up. But then your grandma told me you felt something too, back then, and I just... Charlotte, I couldn't keep pretending. Not when there is even a chance, even the smallest chance that maybe we could be something more than what we've been dancing around all these years. I pull up to the stop sign, hand still resting on the wheel but the rest of me leaning just slightly toward her, like my heart is already halfway over the console and forgot to tell my body to follow. The truck hums quiet beneath us, heater puffing slow, windows fogged faint around the edges, and outside, the sky has gone that deep, honey gold color that only happens right before sunset. Everything feels soft. Still. Like the world knows something is hanging in the air and it's holding its breath too. I glance over at her. Charlotte, I say, voice barely above a whisper, warm and real and maybe a little shaky. Please look at me. She don't right away. Her eyes stay on the window like she is watching the tree sway or waiting for a sign from the clouds. But after a second long enough to make my stomach twist she does. Slowly. She turns her head, brown eyes locking onto mine, and there is this storm brewing in hurt and memory and maybe, just maybe, a little hope she ain't ready to name yet. Nothing changed, Jules, she says, voice tight, tired. I'm still Ethan's sister. And she says it like that as the end of it. Like it's supposed to be a wall between us, not a bridge. I nod. Not quick. Not fighting it. I know. Then I reach across the seat, slow and careful like I'm approaching a skittish horse, and I cup her cheek with my rough, calloused palm. She don't flinch. Don't pull away. Yeah, you're his sister, I murmur. Always will be. But you're also you, Charlotte Rose Sinclair. You're smart and sharp and stubborn as a mule, and you drink your coffee black and read newspapers cover to cover like it's gospel, and I. My thumb brushes gentle over her cheekbone. I haven't stopped thinking about you since the first time you laughed at one of my dumb jokes on that lake dock. And not as Ethan's sister. As you. She blinks, lashes long, eyes glossy like there is tears she ain't willin' to let fall just yet. And Lord help me, I lean in. Not rushin'. Not grabbin'. Just lettin' my forehead tilt forward, breath mingling with hers in that small space between us, our noses almost brushin'. I think about you when I wake up. When I'm hammering fence posts. When I see something stupid on TV and wish you were there to roll your eyes with me. You're in every quiet place I got. Always have been. She don't say nothin'. But she don't pull back either. And that is enough for me to move just a little closer, until her breath hitches and my lips are hovering right over hers waiting on her say so, her yes, her now. Charlotte, I whisper again, softer this time. If you don't want this, say the word. I'll stop. I'll take you home and I want to bring it up again. But I ain't pretendin' no more. She looks up at me, eyes searchin', heart bare. And she don't say a word. But her fingers curled gentle into the front of my flannel like she's anchoring herself there, like maybe I'm the one solid thing in a world that's always pulling her 10 steps ahead. And that's all the answer I need. So I kiss her. Soft. Careful. The way you kiss a girl you've been in love with for longer than you want to admit. The kind that says I'm here. I see you. I ain't going nowhere. And when she kisses me back? Lord, I feel it all the way down to my boots. Charlotte Sinclair. I'm out of my damn mind. That's it. That's the only possible explanation. Because right now, I'm pressed up against Jules Hayes, yes, that Jules Hayes while he kisses me like it's the easiest thing in the world. Like it's something we've done 100 times before, and not the exact thing I spent years daydreaming about in high school, usually while pretending to be deeply invested in AP US history. And sure, maybe I've imagined this moment once or twice. Okay, more than twice. But I never imagined it would feel like this. He pulls me close but not too close like he's half expecting me to come to my senses and bolt for the passenger side door. And honestly? He's not wrong. I should be bolting. I should be over here thinking clearly, remembering this man is technically still off limits in the unwritten rules of thou shalt not kiss thy brother's best friend. But instead? I slide closer. Real slow. Like gravity's got me, like my body figured it out before my brain did. Like maybe it was always gonna end this way, me melting into the bench seat of his beat-up old truck, dress bag crumpled somewhere behind me, breath catchin' as I move against him. And Jules? Oh, Jules. He lets out this low little sound somewhere between a groan and a prayer as I press up against him, and his arm curls round my waist like it's meant to live there. Solid and warm in there. The kind of arm that says I've got you without even speaking it. I swear, the man is built like a walking daydream dipped in flannel and smiling too much. His mouth is still on mine, slow and so soft, but there's heat underneath it, years of not saying what we should be, years of pretending there wasn't a spark when there was. And Lord help me, I moan. Just a little. Just enough to betray every ounce of cool, cynical big city armor I've spent years building. And I feel him shiver. Like my little sound just knocked the wind out of him. Jules pulls back an inch, lips hovering, breath hitting my cheek like a question he's too polite to ask out loud. Charlotte, he says, voice rough and low and laced in that molasses drawl that hits me straight in the spine. You gotta tell me if I need to stop. You just say the word, and I'll drive you straight home, no questions asked. Of course he would. Of course he would. Because Jules Hayes is a gentleman. The type who still calls your mama ma'am and helps old ladies carry groceries even if it makes him late to work. Meanwhile, I'm over here trying not to climb into his lap like a woman possessed. I blink up at him, breathless. Jules. He swallows. Yeah? If you stop kissing me right now, I will throw myself out of this truck. His face splits into the softest damn grin I've ever seen, like I just handed him the winning lottery ticket, like maybe he was hoping for that answer but didn't he want to bank on it. Well, in that case, he drawls, already leaning back in, voice pure southern sin and honeyed heat, guess I better not let you go nowhere just yet. And then he kisses me again. And this time? I don't hold anything back. Because for once, I don't want to. My hand shoots up into that golden boy hair of his, soft as sin and twice as dangerous, and I grip it like it's the only steady thing in the truck, like he might disappear if I don't keep hold. He groans, low and rough, and Jesus, the sound of it goes straight to my spine like a firecracker. Our mouths crash together, not gentle anymore, no more slow burn, no more hesitant. This is heat and years and every unsaid thing between us getting said all at once, tongue and teeth and desperation disguised as desire. Our tongues tangle like they've done this before, like they know each other, and it's borderline infuriating how good he is at this. Of course Jules Hayes kisses like a damn professional. Of course he's got just the right pressure, just the right rhythm, like he's mapped out every inch of me in some private daydream and now he's working off muscle memory. Figures. While I've been in New York dodging subway creeps and pretending to like men who text in lowercase, Jules has been back here learning how to ruin me with his mouth. And he does. His arm winds tighter around my waist, strong and sure, like he's real ing me and slow but determined. Next thing I know, I'm sliding fully into his lap, knees on either side of him, the steering wheel digging into my back, but I don't care. Could be the pearly Sinclair behind me and I still lean into him like this. One of his hands drops to my thigh, warm and possessive even through the denim. It's not even risque, not really, but the weight of it there makes my brain short out. Like he's marking me. Claiming something he ain't even said out loud yet. And I swear, I feel it all the way up my spine. I break the kiss for air, gasping, head falling forward to rest against his, foreheads pressed close. We're breathing the same air now, hot and uneven, the windows fogging around us like we're inside our own little bubble of terrible ideas. I pant, thumb still caught in the curve of his jaw. You kiss like it's your job. Jules S. smiling, that lazy, crooked grin of his that should come with a warning. Well, I am a man of many skills, he drawls, voice deep and raspy. But I gotta say, this one is my favorite. I snort, actually snort, because of course he says that. You're ridiculous, I mutter, but my mouth is already brushing his again like it forgot how to stay mad. Yeah, he whispers against my lips. But you're still sitting in my lap. And damn him, he's right. And damn me, I'm not moving. His hands stay steady on me, one splayed wide across my lower back, thumb moving slow like he's memorizing me in little circles, and the other still gripping my thigh like he don't quite trust I'm real. Like if he lets go, I'll vanish back to New York and he'll wake up back in the truck alone, radio humming sad country songs and nothing but the scent of me left in the air. I'm still straddling him, breathless and fog-brained, my jeans bunched just a little where his fingers hold me. The steering wheel is digging into my shoulder blades and I know I'll have a bruise tomorrow, but hell, I might frame the thing if this keeps up. I try to gather some dignity, try to remember who I am. Charlotte Rose Sinclair, emotionally repressed, sarcastic, over-caffeinated, New York jaded. I'm not the kind of girl who makes out with her brother's best friend in his truck like it's the opening scene of a bad Hallmark Christmas special. And yet, here I am. On top of him. Heart racing, lips swollen, and thoughts scattered like glitter in a fan. You always like this with women? I ask, breath catching somewhere between teasing and accusing, though I already know the answer. Jules chuckles, deep in his chest, and it vibrates right through me. Wouldn't he know? Ain't he kissed nobody like this before? That should sound like a line. It probably is a line. But damn him, it don't feel like one. It feels honest. Stupid, dangerous honesty. I roll my eyes, half-hearted. Uh-huh. You expect me to believe you've been sitting around all these years not laying that golden boy charm on half the county? He smirks, leans in like he's got a secret tucked behind his grin. Charlotte, darlin', I had a crush on you when you had braces and thought suspenders were a personality trait. I didn't look at another girl in this town without thinking of you. That shuts me up. I blink at him. My hand is still in his hair, and I realize I've been absently running my fingers through it while he's been wrecking my emotional stability. Oh. Yeah, he says, nodding like it ain't nothing but fact. So no. You ain't just a pretty girl in a green dress to me. You're the girl. Always been. I let out a breath like someone kicked me right in the solar plexus. He's looking at me like I hung the damn moon. Like I could say anything, run, stay, ruin him, and he'd just smile and ask if I wanted a biscuit on the way home. And worse? I believe him. I rest my forehead against his again, eyes closing for a second. Just 1 second. Trying to keep myself from melting clean through the floorboards. Your trouble, Jules Hayes, I whisper. He grins against my cheek, kissing the corner of my mouth like it's the easiest thing in the world. Good kind? I sigh, all fake exasperation. Worst kind. But I don't move. I just kiss him again. Jules Hayes. I'm grinning like a damn fool as I hop out and jog round to her side of the truck, and I know it hell, I feel it in the stretch of my cheeks, the way my heart's knocking around my chest like it's trying to break free. Can't help it. Not when Charlotte Sinclair just spent the last 20 minutes in my lap, kissing me like the world might end if she stopped. I pull open her door, and she is sitting there all sideways, legs dangling out, looking at me with those big eyes half dazed, half suspicious, like she still can't quite believe what just happened. Like maybe she is waiting for me to laugh and say it was all some kind of elaborate prank. But I ain't Logan. I'm just reaching for her, hands finned in her waist easy as breathing, and I lift her down onto her mama-esque cracked sidewalk like she weighs nothing at all. And Lord help me, she don't pull away. She lets me hold her there a second longer than I probably should, her hands resting on my shoulders, and I swear I feel the heat of her palms burning straight through my flannel. Easy now, I murmur, keepin' my voice low and soft, the kind of tone you use with something precious. Don't want you trippin' in those fancy boots. She rolls her eyes, but there ain't no bite in it. Jules, I've been walkin' in heels since I was 16. I think I can handle a sidewalk. Maybe, I say, grinnin' wider, thumb rubbin' a little circle against her hip before I let go. But humor me, darlin'. I'm old-fashioned. She snorts and shakes her head, but I catch the smile pullin' at her lips. The same lips I just had pressed against mine. Pink and a little swollen now, evidence of what we just did, and damn if it don't make me want to lean right back in and kiss her all over again. But I don't. Because this is Charlotte. Not just some girl. Not just a pretty face or a good time. This is the girl I used to watch from across the cafeteria, the one who debayed her highlighter cap when she was concentrating on her homework, the one who laughed at all my dumb jokes even when Ethan told her not to encourage me. The one I thought about every single day for the last 14 years, wondering if maybe she ever thought about me too. And now I know she did. Now I know she does. And I'll be damned if I mess this up by rushing things just 'cause my body ass got other ideas. She is standing in front of me now, dress bag slung over one arm, hair a little mussed from where my fingers got tangled in it, cheeks still flushed. She looks like a dream I don't deserve, but hell if I ain't gonna try anyway. You alright? I ask, voice dipping lower, concern threading through the words. I mean, that wasn't too much, was it? Her eyes soften, just a fraction, and she reaches up to smooth down the collar of my shirt, fingers lingering a second too long. Jules, if that was too much, I wouldn't have climbed into your lap. My grin splits wider. Well, when you put it like that. She huffs, but she is smilin' now, full on smilin', and it's the kind of smile that makes my chest feel 3 sizes too small. You're impossible. Yeah, but you like me anyway. Unfortunately. I laugh, deep and warm, and before I can think better of it, I'm leaning down and pressing a kiss to her forehead, soft, gentle, nothing like the heat we just shared in the truck. This one is different. This one says I see you. I've got you. I ain't going nowhere. When I pull back, she is looking up at me with something unreadable in her eyes, something that looks a little like fear and a little like hope all tangled up together. Jules, she starts, and I can hear the waver in her voice, the edge of doubt creeping in. What are we doing? I take a breath, let it out slow, and reach up to tuck a strand of hair behind her ear, my thumb brushing her cheek. Honestly, Tor? I don't got all the answers. But I know I've been waiting for you my whole life, and I ain't about to let you slip away now that I finally got you here. Her breath catches, just a little, and I see her walls trying to go back up that New York armor she wears like a second skin. But I don't let her retreat. I step closer, close enough that she has gotta tilt her head back to meet my eyes. I know you got a life up there, I say quietly, seriously now. I know you got work and an apartment and a whole world that don't include me. And I ain't asking you to give that up, Charlotte. I'm just a skin, let me show you what you'd be coming home to. If you wanted. No pressure. No expectations. Just us. Seeing where this goes. She is quiet for a long moment, bit in her bottom lip, and I can practically see the wheels turning in that beautiful, overthinking brain of hers. Finally, she sighs, and it's the kind of sigh that sounds like surrender. You're really not making this easy, you know that? I grin, slow and easy. Darlin', if I made it easy, you'd get bored. She really laughs, and the sound of it is better than any Christmas song I've ever heard. Okay, she says, so quiet I almost miss it. Okay. We'll see. And that's enough for me. For now. I press one more kiss to the corner of her mouth, lingering just long enough to feel her melt into it, and then I step back, giving her space to breathe. Go on inside before your mama comes out here with a shotgun thinking I'm corrupting her baby girl, I tease, nodding toward the house. Charlotte groans. Oh God, she has probably already got her nose pressed to the window. Definitely, I agree, still grinning. Which is why I'm walking you to the door like a proper gentleman. Jules. Nope. House rules. I don't let pretty girls walk themselves to the door. She sighs again, but this time there is affection in it, and she don't fight me as I take her hand and walk her up the path to the front porch. The string lights her mama hung are twinkling soft in the early evening air, and the whole scene feels like something out of one of those holiday movies Grandma Eileen loves so much. and for once, I don't mind being part of the cliché. When we reach the door, I turn to face her, hand slipping into my pocket so I don't reach for her again, cause if I do, I one T stop. Merry almost Christmas, Charlotte Sinclair, I say, voice warm and easy. She shakes her head, but she is smilin'. Merry almost Christmas, Jules Hayes. And then, before I can say another word, she leans up on her toes and kisses me one more time, quick and soft and so damn sweet it nearly knocks me clean off my feet. When she pulls away, she is already turning toward the door, dress bag in hand, but she glances back over her shoulder with a look that is equal parts mischief and promise. Don't get any ideas, she warns. This doesn't mean I'm staying. But the way she says it? I'm pretty sure she is trying to convince herself more than me. I just tip my hat figuratively, since I ain't wearing one, and give her my best easy grin. Wouldn't dream of it, darlin'. She disappears inside, and I stand there on the porch for a minute longer, hands in my pockets, grinning up at the stars like a lovesick fool. Because that is exactly what I am. And I ain't even sorry about it. Jules Hayes. I woke up on the 24th with a grin on my face and resolve settlin' deep in my bones like fresh poured concrete. Sun wasn't even fully up yet, but I laid there in bed for a good minute just staring at the ceiling with this dumb smile stretchin' across my face like I'd won the damn lottery in my sleep. And in a way, maybe I had. Charlotte Sinclair kissed me back. Didn't he shove me off? Didn't he give me that look like I'd lost my mind? No, she leaned in. She kissed me like she meant it. Like all those years of pretendin' we were just friends of family, like all that distance she built up, just cracked a little at the seams. So yeah, I'm floatin'. But I'm also not dumb. This is Magnolia Creek, population nosy, and if Mrs. Bledsoe ain't already spread the word down to the Piggly Wiggly by now, I'll eat my flannel. Which means it's only a matter of hours, not days, before Ethan hears that his best friend has been kissin' his baby sister in the cab of a pickup truck under the Lord-s sky and Christmas lights. I don't want him hearing it from someone else. So I throw on some jeans and my favorite thermal, grab a tin of Eileen's molasses cookies figured a piece offering couldn't hurt, and head out early toward Ethan and Ashley's place. I don't usually go unannounced. Never been that guy. But I figure if I catch him before they pack up the kids and head out to his folks' place, I got a shot at saying my piece without it turning into a public incident involving his mama, a disapproving head shake, and possibly a decorative candy cane to the temple. Their house is just off Cedar Row, one of them cozy ranch styles with white siding, a big front porch, and an inflatable Santa currently half deflated and face down in the flower bed. Ashley is doing her best with the decorations, but them twins of theirs like to wage war on Christmas whenever they get the chance. I pull into the drive and kill the engine, heart thumping like I just stepped into a rodeo ring. Alright, I mutter to myself, glancing in the rearview like it's gonna offer advice. Just be honest. Be respectful. And try not to get punched in the jaw before you finish talking. I grab the cookie tin, take a deep breath, and head up the porch steps. Let us see how this goes. I knock 3 times firm but friendly, the kind of knock that says, hey, it's me, not a serial killer, and wait, shifting my weight from one boot to the other like a kid outside the principal's office. Through the door, I can hear the chaos brewin'. Little feet running across hardwood, Ashley's voice calling out something about no syrup on the couch, Mia, I mean it, and then Ethan's deeper voice cutting through it all, steady and tired in that dad way that means he has been up since 5 and already refereed 2 fights over a toy truck. The door swings open, and there he is. Ethan Sinclair, my best friend since we were 7 years old and decided that building a treehouse out of stolen plywood was a reasonable life goal. He is wearing a faded Titans hoodie, plaid pajama pants, and a look on his face that says, why are you on my porch before I've had my second cup of coffee? Jules? He blinks at me, scratching the back of his head. Man, what were you doing here? It's barely 7:30. I hold up the tin like a white flag. Brought cookies. Grandma Eileen's molasses ones. His eyes narrow, suspicious now. You brought me cookies. At 7:30. On Christmas Eve. Yep. Unannounced. That's correct. Ethan leans against the doorframe, crossing his arms over his chest, and I can see the gears turning in his head. He knows me too well. Knows I don't just drop by with baked goods unless something's up. Alright, he says slowly, stepping aside and jerking his head toward the inside. Get in here before you freeze your ass off. But I'm warning you now, the house is a war zone. Mia lost a shoe, Caleb S. convinced Santa forgot about him, and Ashley S. about 2 seconds from locking herself in the bathroom with a bottle of wine. I step inside, and sure enough, it's a scene. Mia 4 years old, wild brown curls, and the stubbornness of a Sinclair comes tearing around the corner wearing one light-up sneaker and a tutu over her pajamas. She skids to a stop when she sees me, eyes going wide. "Uncle Jules," she shrieks, and before I can brace myself, she has launched herself at my legs like a tiny, sparkly missile. I catch her, Logan, as I scoop her up. "Hey there, sugar. You ready for Santa tonight?" She nods so hard her curls bounce. "Uh-huh. But Caleb says Santa's not real and I told him he is a liar and Mama said we both gotta apologize but I'm not sorry cause he is a liar." Mia Grace, Ashley's voice floats in from the kitchen, sing-song but firm. "We do not call our brother a liar, even when he is being a little punk." Ethan snorts. "She didn't say that last part." "I was thinking it," Ashley calls back. I set Mia down, ruffling her hair, and she tears off again, prob ly to go find that other shoe or wage more war on her brother. Caleb S. 6, quieter than his sister, but just as stubborn, takes after Ethan in that way. Ethan leads me into the kitchen, where Ashley is standing at the counter in leggings and an oversized sweater, hair piled up in a messy bun, flippin' pancakes like she is running a diner. She glances over her shoulder and lights up when she sees me. "Jules Hayes, you sweet thing," she says, wiping her hands on a dish towel. "You bringin' me cookies?" "Yes ma, I am," I say, handing over the tin. "Straight from Grandma Eileen's kitchen." "Well, aren't you just a gentleman?" She pops the lid, breathes in deep, and sighs like she just found the meaning of life. "Ethan, you could learn something from this man." Ethan rolls his eyes, pouring me a cup of coffee from the pot. Yeah. I'm a terrible husband. You remind me daily." "'Cause it's true, honey." I grin, tucking the mug he hands me black, no sugar, just the way I like it, and lean back against the counter. For a second, it almost feels normal. Just another morning at the Sinclair house, kids running wild, Ashley cooking, Ethan giving me shit. But then Ethan really looks at me, and I see it click. He sets his own mug down, slow and deliberate, and crosses his arms again. "Alright. What's going on?" I take a sip of coffee, buying myself a second, then set the mug down and meet his eyes square. "I need to talk to you about something." "Figured." His jaw tightens just a little. "This got something to do with why you're smiling like a golden retriever who just got told he is a good boy?" Ashley glances between us, spatula frozen mid-flip. "Ooh. This sounds interesting." "Ash," Ethan says, not tucking his eyes off me. "Maybe give us a minute?" She looks like she wants to argue, can't blame her. I do want to stay for this too, but then she sighs, sets the spatula down, and heads toward the living room. "Fine. But I'm listening from the other room, so don't think you're getting privacy." "Wouldn't he dream of it, darlin'," Ethan mutters. And then it's just me and him. He has still got his arms crossed, still got that look on his face like he is trying to figure out if I'm about to make his life easier or a whole lot more complicated. I take a breath. "So, you know how Charlotte's home for the week?" Ethan's eyes narrow. "Yeah. And you know how I've been, spending some time with her?" "Jules." His voice drops, low and warning. "What did you do?" I rub the back of my neck, feeling the heat crawl up from my collar. "I didn't do anything." "Well, I mean, I did, but it wasn't look, man, I'm just gonna say it straight." "Good idea." I meet his eyes, steady as I can. "I kissed your sister." Silence. Dead, heavy, suffocating silence. Ethan just stares at me. Doesn't he blink? Doesn't he move? Just stares, like maybe if he does it long enough, I'll take it back or say I'm joking or spontaneously combust to save him the trouble. And then, real slow, he lets out a long breath through his nose. "You kissed Charlotte?" "Yes, sir." "My sister." "That be the one." "Yesterday?" "After dress shopping, yeah." His jaw works, like he win on the words, trying to decide if he is mad or just shocked or some combination of both. Finally, he drags a hand down his face and looks at me like I just told him I ran over his mailbox. "Jules, what the hell, man?" I hold up both hands, like that gonna help. "Look at I'm like that." I mean, it is, but it's not. I let out a breath, scrub a hand through my hair. I like Charlotte. No, scratch that, I love her. Like, for years, Ethan. And I know. Years? Ethan's voice goes up half an octave, and he's staring at me like I just told him I've been secretly running a circus out of his barn. Since when? I dunno, man. Probably since we were kids? Maybe longer. Hell, I don't even remember a time I didn't feel something for her. His eyes go wide, real wide, and he takes a step back, leaning against the counter like he needs the support. Why didn't you tell me? 'Cause you made that whole no messin' with sisters rule back in high school, Ethan. Remember? You sat me and half the football team down junior year and said if anybody so much as looked at Charlotte wrong, you'd personally make sure we couldn't walk straight for a week. I shake my head, half Logan, even though my heart is poundin'. And I respected that. I still respect that. You're my best friend. I wasn't gonna go behind your back or make things weird between us. Ethan's jaw works, win on that, but he don't say nothing yet. So I keep going. It's just I pause, trying to find the words that don't make me sound like a complete fool. Your grandma told me something. A couple days ago. Said Charlotte had a crush on me back in the day. Like, back. High school. Ethan blinks. Grandma Eileen told you that? Yeah. At the Piggly Wiggly, in the parking lot. I let out a short laugh, shaking my head at the memory. I about dropped a jar of pickles on my foot, man. 'Cause I spent years, literal years, thinking she didn't see me that way. Thinking maybe I was just her brother's dumb buddy who told bad jokes and fixed her mama's porch steps every summer. His expression softens, just a fraction, but he has still got his arms crossed. Still got that protective big brother look, locked and loaded. And then she came home, I continue, voice quieter now, more earnest. And I picked her up from the airport 'cause your dad's truck broke down, and we got to talkin', and Ethan, I look him dead in the eye, needin' him to understand. It was like no time had passed at all. Like she was still that girl I used to watch from across the cafeteria, the one who laughed at all my dumb jokes even when you told her not to encourage me. Except now she is this smart, beautiful, incredible woman who has been living this whole life up in New York, and somehow she still looks at me like maybe I'm worth something. I swallow hard, feeling the weight of it all pressin' down on my chest. I ain't tryin' to mess around here, Ethan. I ain't tryin' to break her heart or make things complicated. My voice cracks a little, and I clear my throat, pushin' through. I've loved that girl my whole life, man. And if there's even a chance she feels the same way, I gotta take it. I gotta try. 'Cause I'll regret it for the rest of my life if I don't. The kitchen goes quiet again. Real quiet. The only sound is the distant hum of the TV in the other room and Mia's muffled voice arguing with Caleb about something involving crayons. Ethan just stands there, staring at me, and I can see him processing it all, win on every word, weighing it against whatever protective brother instincts are going off like fireworks in his head. Finally he lets out a long, slow breath and drops his arms to his sides. You really love her, he says. Not a question. A statement. Yeah, I say, voice steady now. I really do. He nods, slow and thoughtful, then tips his head back and stares at the ceiling like maybe the answer is written up there in the popcorn texture. Damn it, Jules, he mutters, but there ain't no real heat in it. Just resignation. Maybe even a little bit of understanding. I wait, heart hammering in my chest like a drumline, prayin' he don't tell me to get out and never come back. And then he looks at me again, and this time, there is something softer in his eyes. Something that looks a little like acceptance. Look, he lets out a long breath, leaning back against the counter and crossing his arms loose like, not defensive anymore. Just, thoughtful. You're like a brother to me, Jules. You know that. Hell, you are my brother, in every way that counts. We built that damn treehouse together. You were there when I proposed to Ashley. You're godfather to my kids, for Christ's sake. I nod, throat tight, 'cause I know all this. I feel all this. It's why this conversation matters so damn much. He shoves a hand through his hair, messing it up even worse than it already was, and lets out a short, almost incredulous laugh. I just never thought that you even liked my sister when I made that whole no messin' with her speech back in high school. You never said anything. Not once. Not even a hint. I know, I say quietly, feeling the weight of all those years pressing down on me. I didn't think I had the right to say anything. You made it real clear she was off limits, and I wasn't about to risk our friendship over some crush I figured would fade eventually. I let out a breath, shaking my head. Except it never did. It just grew. Got deeper. And I learned to live with it, I guess. Figured that was just how it was gonna be. Ethan's quiet for a second, Che went on that, and I can see the gears turning in his head rethinking all those years, all those moments he probably didn't even notice. Damn, he finally says, soft-like. You really kept that close to the chest, huh? Had to, I say with a small smile. Didn't he want to make things weird? Didn't he want to lose you? He nods, slow and understanding, and then he lets out another breath, this one steadier, more resolved. Look, he meets my eyes, and there's something solid there now. Something real. We're 30, Jules. We ain't kids anymore, sneaking beers behind the barn and thinking we know everything about the world. I care about my sister, I do. She is my baby sister, and part of me is always gonna want to protect her from anything that might hurt her. He pauses, and I can see him wrestling with it, trying to find the right words. But you're both grown-ups, he continues, voice firm but not unkind. If she likes you, then she likes you. And hell, if I'm being honest, I can't think of a better guy for her than you. My chest tightens, relief and gratitude flooding through me so fast I almost can't breathe. Ethan. He holds up a hand, cutting me off, but he is smiling now just a little, but it's there. I mean it, man. You're a good guy. You work hard, you treat people right, you'd give somebody the shirt off your back if they needed it. And God knows Charlotte needs somebody who ain't gonna try to change her or make her feel small. She needs somebody who sees her for who she is, not who they want her to be. He steps forward, just a bit, and his voice drops, more serious now. You see her like that, Jules? Yeah, I say without hesitation, my voice rough with emotion. I see her exactly like that. Always have. Ethan studies me for a long moment, searching my face like he is looking for any crack in the foundation, any sign I might not mean it. But he won't find one. 'Cause I do mean it. With every part of me. Finally, he nods, and that small smile grows just a fraction. All right then, he says, and there is a finality to it like he has made his peace with the whole thing. But I'm telling you right now, if you hurt her, if you do anything to make her feel less than she is you and me, we're gonna have words. And they ain't gonna be pretty. I nod, solemn as Sunday morning. Understood. And I wouldn't expect anything less. Good. He claps a hand on my shoulder, firm and brotherly, and the tension that has been stretching between us finally snaps loose. Now, you gonna stand there looking like a lovesick puppy, or you gonna help me wrangle these kids into something halfway presentable before we head to Mama S? I let out a laugh, the kind that comes from pure relief, and grin at him. I can multitask. Lovesick puppy and child wrangler. Yeah. He rolls his eyes, but he is grinning too as he steers me toward the living room. Just don't go making hard eyes at my sister in front of the whole family tonight, alright? Mama S gonna have enough to say without you two giving her ammunition. No promises, I say, still grinning like a fool. From the other room, Ashley S. voice rings out, bright and triumphant. I knew it. I told you, Ethan. I said years ago that Jules had a thing for Charlotte. Ethan groans. Ashley, you were eavesdropping again. Of course I was, she calls back, sounding completely unrepentant. This is the most exciting thing that has happened in this house since Mia stuck a crayon up Caleb's nose. I can't help it, I bust out Logan, and Ethan just shakes his head, half exasperated, half amused. Welcome to the chaos, brother, he says, clapping me on the back one more time. And honestly? I wouldn't want it any other way. Charlotte Sinclair. Oh honey, you look stunning. My mother coos, clutching her hands to her chest like I just stepped out of a bridal magazine instead of, putting on a dress I panic bought yesterday while trying not to think about Jules Hayes' mouth. I smoothed down the front of the green dress, the one that felt safe and sophisticated in Claire's boutique but now feels like it's announcing yes, I made out with a local contractor in his truck and I'd do it again. I paired it with some red lipstick to commit to the whole Christmas aesthetic, because if I'm going to be trapped in a Norman Rockwell painting, I might as well lean into it. Thanks, Mama, I say, forcing a smile that I hope reads as gracious daughter and not woman having a mild existential crisis about her life choices. She is already in full holiday mode, wearing a red sweater with an actual bedazzled Christmas tree on it, her hair teased higher than the national debt, and enough perfume to choke out a small village. She looks happy. Annoyingly, blissfully happy. Your daddy-s getting the car warmed up, she says, flitting around the living room like a caffeinated hummingbird, adjusting poinsettias that don't need adjusting. Ethan and Ashley should be here any minute with the babies. Oh, I just love Christmas Eve service. There's something so magical about it, don't you think? I murmur, checking my phone for the 800th time this morning. Nothing from Jules. Not that I expected anything. Not that I'm waiting for anything. Except I kind of am, and I hate myself a little for it. Because here's the thing, I spent the entire night lying awake in my childhood bedroom, yes, the one with the purple butterfly wallpaper and the glow-in-the-dark stars I was too lazy to peel off at 18, replaying every single second of what happened in that truck. His hands on my waist. His mouth on mine. The way he looked at me like I was the only thing in the world that mattered. And the worst part? The absolute worst part? I liked it. No, scratch that. I loved it. Which is terrifying, because I have a whole entire life in New York. A life I worked my ass off to build. I've got a rent-stabilized apartment in Brooklyn, okay, stabilized is generous, it's a shoebox with a radiator that sounds like a dying whale, but it's mine. I've got deadlines, articles, a column with my name on it. People actually read my work. People who aren't related to me or obligated to be nice. I am Charlotte Sinclair, investigative journalist, cynic, professional overthinker. I am not the girl who falls for her childhood crush and derails her entire career for some small-town Christmas rom-com fantasy. Except. God, the way he kissed me. I press my fingers to my lips without thinking, and my mother, because of course she does, notices immediately. What's that smile for? She asks, eyes narrowing with the kind of maternal radar that could detect a secret from 3 counties away. I drop my hand. Nothing. Just thinking. About? Work. She does not believe me. Not even a little. You've been smiley all morning, baby girl. And you never smile about work. Work makes you stressed and snippy. I'm not snippy. You told your father his eggs were aggressively mediocre at breakfast. They were. She gives me a look the kind only Southern mothers can pull off, somewhere between loving and I will get the truth out of you if it kills us both. I sigh, smoothing down my dress again just to have something to do with my hands. I'm fine, Mama. Really? Just adjusting to being home. She says again, in that tone that means we'll circle back to this later, young lady. Thankfully, the doorbell rings, and I'm saved by the chaos of Ethan, Ashley, and their tiny tornadoes barreling through the front door. Grandma. Mia shrieks, launching herself at my mother with the kind of enthusiasm usually reserved for puppies and game show contestants. Caleb is right behind her, quieter but just as excited, clutching a stuffed reindeer like his life depends on it. Ashley looks frazzled but festive in a red dress and boots, her hair pulled back in a neat ponytail. Merry Christmas Eve, everyone. Sorry we're a little late, someone couldn't find her other shoe. She shoots Mia a pointed look. It was hiding. Mia protests. Under the couch, Ethan adds, stepping inside and shaking his head. He is wearing a button-up and slacks, looking more put together than I've seen him in years, though his hair is still doing that thing where it sticks up in the back. And then his eyes land on me. He pauses. Just for a second. But it's enough to make my stomach flip, because I know that look. That his I know something look. Hey, Tor, he says slowly, a grin tugging at the corner of his mouth. You look nice. Thanks, I say, trying to sound normal and not like I'm internally spiraling. Real nice, he adds, and there's a teasing edge to it now. Jules is gonna lose his mind when he sees you. I freeze. My mother's head whips around. Jules? What about Jules? Nothing, I say quickly. Too quickly. Ethan's grin widens. Oh, nothing. Just that he might be mentioned. Ethan, I hiss. Ashley's eyebrows shoot up. Wait, what? What did I miss? Nothing. I say again, louder this time, and I'm about 2 seconds away from strangling my brother with tinsel. But it's too late. My mother's eyes have gone full Mama Sinclair investigation mode, and she's looking between me and Ethan like she's about to crack the Da Vinci Code. Charlotte Rose Sinclair, she says slowly, hands on her hips. Is there something you need to tell me? Nope. About you and Jules Hayes? Nope. Ethan S. trying not to laugh. Ashley S. failing at the same thing. I grab my coat off the rack and head for the door. We're gonna be late for church. Let us go. Behind me, I hear my mother whisper shouting at Ethan, what happened with Jules? And Ethan, the traitorous bastard, just laughs. This is going to be a long night. Magnolia Creek First Baptist Church looks like someone took a Thomas Kincaid painting and dunked it in glitter. There are white lights strung up everywhere across the rafters, around the windows, woven through garlands of fake pine that smell vaguely of cinnamon potpourri and suburban desperation. The pews are packed with everyone I've ever known, plus their cousins, wearing their Sunday best and smiling like we're all extras in a Hallmark movie. I hate that I don't entirely hate it. We shuffle in through the heavy wooden doors, Mama leading the charge like a general, Daddy trailing behind with Caleb on his shoulders, Ashley wrangling Mia, and Ethan walking next to me with a stupid smirk on his face that I want to slap off. Wipe that look off your face, I mutter under my breath. What look, he says, all faux innocence. The one that says you know something I don't want you to know. Oh, you mean the one where I know my best friend kissed my sister? I freeze. Like, full body, every muscle locked, record scratch freeze. My hand is still on the church door, half pulled open, cold December air hitting my face, but I can't move. Can't breathe. Can't do anything except stare at my brother like he just told me he has secretly been a lizard person this whole time. He told you that? I whisper shout, and it comes out strangled, like I'm being choked by my own mortification. Ethan's grin spreads slow and smug across his face, the kind of grin that says, oh, I've got you now, and I'm gonna enjoy this. Yep, he says, popping the pea like the smug bastard he is. Showed up at my house this morning. Before 7:30. Brought cookies and everything. I blink. Cookies? Grandma Eileen's molasses ones. He bribed you with cookies? Well, he tried. Ethan shrugs, still grinning. Didn't he work, but points for effort. I'm gonna pass out. I'm actually going to pass out right here on the steps of Magnolia Creek First Baptist Church in my stupid green dress and my stupid red lipstick, and they're gonna have to weekend at Bernie S. me through the Christmas Eve service while the whole town watches. What I start, then stop, then start again, because my brain is short-circuiting and my mouth can't keep up. What did he say? Ethan leans in, lowering his voice so Mama doesn't hear, though she is already inside wrangling the kids and probably planning my wedding in her head. He said he kissed you. That he has been in love with you since we were kids. And that he wasn't gonna let me hear it from the Magnolia Creek gossip mill before he told me himself. Oh my God. He said he was in love with me? My voice cracks on the word, and I hate it. Hate that I sound breathless and hopeful and like some kind of romance novel heroine instead of the jaded, emotionally guarded journalist I've spent a decade becoming. Ethan's expression softens, just a little. Just enough to remind me that underneath all the big brother teasing, he actually gives a damn. Yeah, Tor. He did. I swallow hard, staring past Ethan into the church where everything feels soaked in soft gold and cinnamon nostalgia, like someone took a snow globe and shook it right into my bloodstream. The organ hums through the air like it's trying to soothe me with Jesus-approved ambience, and I feel like I'm gonna be sick. Because how the hell am I supposed to just go back to my life? How do I walk back into my cold little Brooklyn apartment, toss this whole thing into a mental box labeled Holiday Delusion, slap a bow on it that says do not open until next breakdown, and pretend like none of this ever happened? This part? This wasn't in the script. I was supposed to come home, endure the familial chaos, slap on some lipstick, maybe flirt a little for the thrill of it. Then I was supposed to leave. Go back to sirens and coffee-fueled deadlines and dating emotionally unavailable men who don't know my last name without checking their phones first. But Jules? Jules talked to Ethan. Voluntarily. At 7:30 in the goddamn morning. With cookies. Do you understand the gravity of that? This is a man who flinches at the idea of confrontation like it's a snake in the yard, and he still went to my brother, his best friend, to say, hey, so I'm in love with your sister and also, surprise, I kissed her. Merry Christmas. What do you do with that? I pressed my lips together, still tingling with the memory of his lips. That damn truck. That slow, reverent way he touched me like I was made of something worth protectin'. Like I wasn't just a girl in a green dress having a crisis. Like I mattered. God help me, he looked at me like I hung the moon and then forgot to come down. And I let him. Worse, I wanted it. Because it wasn't just a kiss. It was years of ache wrapped up in the taste of pine and want. It was every hallway glance, every almost touch, every damn time I tried to convince myself he only saw me as Ethan's little sister and not the girl who used to write his name in the margins of my notebook in high school like a cliché. And now? Now he has gone and cracked that neat little narrative I built for myself. That clean, controllable, emotionally distant life I stitched together with ambition and caffeine and a fuckload of detachment. He went off script. I did too. I'm standing on the steps of a church in a small town I thought I'd outgrown, heart in my throat, looking like I just stepped out of a Southern Christmas card, while the boy I never stopped wanting is out there telling people he's in love with me like it's the simplest truth in the world. I smoothed down the front of my dress for the 9 millionth time, suddenly hyper-aware of everything, the way the fabric clings, the red lipstick that felt bold this morning and now feels like a neon sign, the fact that my palms are sweating and I'm about to walk into a room full of people who've known me since I had braces, and a regrettable side bang. And then I see him. Jules. It takes all of 3 seconds. He is sitting about halfway down on the left side, wedged in between his family in a pew that looks like it was built for people a foot shorter than him. His mom is on one side, petite, blonde, sweet as sugar and twice as southern. His dad is on the other, broad-shouldered and silver-haired, the kind of man who looks like he could build you a house with his bare hands and then invite you over for sweet tea. His brother Danny is there too, with his wife Cassie and their 2 kids, all squeezed in like a very attractive, very wholesome sardine tin. And Jules. He is wearing a navy button-up that fits him in a way that should be illegal, sleeves rolled up just enough to show his forearms because of course they are, and his hair is combed back neat, though I can already see one piece starting to rebel and fall across his forehead. He looks like every good decision I've ever talked myself out of. And the second we walk in, his head turns. Like he felt me. Our eyes meet across the church, and I swear to God, time does that annoying rom-com thing where it slows down and everything else goes fuzzy and all I can see is him, looking at me like I just walked out of his dreams and into his favorite Christmas song. His eyes widen. Just a little. Just enough for me to notice. And then oh no, he smiles. Not a polite, hey, good to see you, smile. Not a casual, friendly wave. No. This is a full-on, slow-burning, I know exactly how you taste and I'm thinking about it right now kind of smile, and it hits me square in the chest like a heat-seeking missile made of flannel and bad decisions. I am in so much trouble. Because that smile? That smile says I told your brother I'm in love with you and I do it again. That smile says I've been waiting for you to walk through that door since I sat down 20 minutes ago. That smile says you can run back to New York if you want, but we both know you're gonna be thinking about me the whole way there. And the worst part? He is right. I tear my eyes away, force myself to, because if I keep looking at him, I'm gonna do something stupid like smile back or wave or, God forbid, blush, and I've already lost enough ground today without giving the entire congregation a front row seat to my unraveling. Oh, honey, there's Jules, my mother chirps, completely oblivious to the fact that I am dissolving in real time. She waves at him, actually waves like we're all at a parade and not sitting in the house of the Lord where I'm about to combust from second-hand eye contact. Jules lifts a hand in return, still looking at me, and I swear his grin gets wider. I'm going to kill him. Or kiss him again. Probably both. Ethan leans down, voice low and smug. You're blushing. Shut up, I hiss. Like, really blushing. I didn't even know you could blush anymore. I thought living in New York killed that part of your soul. I will end you. Merry Christmas to you too, sis. We slide into a pew a few rows behind the Hayes family, and I deliberately do not look in Jules' direction, even though I can feel his eyes on me like a physical thing. Like warm hands on my waist. Like his thumb drawing slow circles against my lower back. Stop it, I tell my brain. Stop it. I focus very hard on the church bulletin in my hands, pretending to be fascinated by the announcement about the ladies' auxiliary bake sale and the youth group car wash fundraiser. Riveting stuff. Real Pulitzer-worthy material. Mama leans over, whispering way too loudly. You should go say hi to Jules, sweetheart. It's only polite. I'll say hi later, I mutter, eyes glued to the bulletin like it contains the secrets of the universe. But he's right there. I'm aware, Mama. And he looks so handsome tonight, don't you think? That boy cleans up nice. Jesus Christ. Ashley S. trying not to laugh on my other side. Ethan S. failing entirely. Even Daddy S. giving me a look like what S. gotten into you? And then because of course Pastor Jim gets up to the pulpit and welcomes everyone with that booming, jovial voice of his, the kind that makes you feel like you're being hugged and gently scolded at the same time. Merry Christmas Eve, everyone. What a blessing it is to see so many familiar faces gathered here tonight. We all stand for the opening hymn, O come all ye faithful, and I risk a glance. Just one. Jules S. already looking. Of course he is. He winks. He winks. Right there. In church. In front of Jesus and the entire town and his mother, who is standing next to him holding a hymnal and singing in that sweet, clear voice that probably makes angels weep. I am absolutely, completely, 100% screwed. And the worst part? I think I'm okay with it. Jules Hayes. Damn, Charlotte looks amazing. That green dress, the red lipstick, Lord have mercy. Her brown hair falling in soft waves over her shoulders like something out of a dream I shouldn't be having in church. I was trying my level best not to glance back at her during service, but it was damn near impossible. Kept findin' excuses droppin' my hymnal, checkin' my phone was on silent for the third time, pretendin' I heard somebody call my name from the back pews. Even my dad picked up that something was goin' on. Leaned over during the responsive reading and whispered, boy, you gonna burn a hole through the back of that girl's head if you don't quit starin'. I tried to focus. Really, I did. Pastor Jim was going on about love and grace and second chances, which, honestly, felt a little too on the nose for my current situation, but all I could think about was how Charlotte's lips felt against mine yesterday. How she climbed right into my lap like she belonged there. How she looked at me after, all flushed and breathless, like maybe she was feeling every single thing I'd been carrying around for the better part of 15 years. I'm in so deep it ain't even funny. After Mass, everybody's millin' around outside huggin', wishin' each other Merry Christmas, Mrs. Henderson passin' out her peppermint bark like it's currency. I spot Charlotte standin' with Ethan and Ashley, holdin' little Mia on her hip, and somethin' in my chest just settles. Like seeing her with family, smilin' that real smile she doesn't wear enough, makes the whole world make sense. She catches my eye and her cheeks go pink. Yeah. She is thinkin' about yesterday too. I make my way over, ignorant the fact that at least 4 people have stopped their conversations to watch me do it. Small towns, man. You sneeze wrong and it's front page news. Evening, Sinclair family, I say, tippin' an imaginary hat 'cause my mama raised me right. Why I'll look like a Christmas card. Ashley grins. Jules Hayes, you're laying it on thick tonight. Just statin' facts, ma am. I turn to Charlotte, and I swear the air gets heavier. Charlotte. You look real nice. Real nice? That's what I'm going with. I just told her brother I'm in love with her this morning, and the best I can do is real nice? But Charlotte's lips twitch like she's holding back a smile, and that's enough to make me feel like maybe I didn't completely fumble it. Thanks, Jules, she says, and her voice has that soft edge to it that makes me want to lean in closer. You clean up pretty good yourself. Ethan clears his throat real loud. Alright, why all are gonna make me nauseous? Jules, didn't your mama say dinner's at 6? You better get going before she sends a search party. He's right. Mama's got the whole family comin' over, aunts, uncles, cousins, the works. She has been cookin' since Tuesday, and if I'm late, I'll never hear the end of it. But leavin' right now, when Charlotte's standin' here lookin' like every good thing I've ever wanted wrapped up in a green dress? That's torture. Yeah, I'm headin' out, I say, but my feet ain't movin'. I'm just standin' here like a fool, grinnin' at Charlotte like she hung the moon and personally installed all them stars up in the sky. Ashley takes Mia from Charlotte's arms. Ethan, why don't we go wrangle Caleb before he eats all the cookies off the dessert table? Subtle, Ash. Real subtle, Ethan mutters, but he follows her anyway, throwing me a look that says don't screw this up as he goes. And then it's just me and Charlotte, standin' on the church lawn while the whole town pretends they ain't watchin'. So, I start, scratchin' the back of my neck. Ethan told you. She nods, bit in her bottom lip. Yeah. He told me. And, she looks down, fidgetin' with the strap of her purse. And I don't know what to do with that, Jules. My heart is hammerin' now, but I step closer anyway. Close enough that I can smell her perfume, something soft and warm, like vanilla and something I can't name but no ID follow anywhere. You don't gotta do anything with it right now, I say, keeping my voice low. I needed you to know. Needed him to know. I'm done hiding how I feel about you, Charlotte. I've spent too damn long doing that already. Her eyes flick up to mine, and I swear I see something break open in her expression. Something scared and hopeful all at once. I live in New York, she whispers, like that's supposed to be the end of it. I know. I have a life there. I know that too. Jules, her voice cracks, and it just about kills me. I can't just. Hey. I reach out, gentle as I can, and tuck a piece of hair behind her ear. My hand lingers there, thumb brushing against her cheek. I ain't asking you to figure it all out tonight. I'm just asking you to let yourself feel what you're feelin'. That's it. She closes her eyes, leaning into my touch just a little, and I feel like I just won something bigger than any poker game or football championship or construction contract I ever landed. I gotta go, I say, even though it's the last thing I wanna do. Mama's expectin' me. But Charlotte? She opens her eyes. I meant what I said. Every word. I lean in, press a kiss to her forehead, soft, quick, but enough that she knows I'm serious, and then force myself to step back before I do something stupid like kiss her proper right here in front of God and Mrs. Bledsoe and everybody. Merry Christmas, Charlotte Sinclair. Merry Christmas, Jules. I walk away, climbing into my truck and starting the engine, but I can't help glancing in the rearview mirror as I pull out. She is still standing there, watching me go, one hand pressed to her forehead where I kissed her. Yeah. I'm done for. I make it to Mama's house 10 minutes late, which in Southern time means I'm basically on schedule. The driveway is packed with cars, and I can hear the noise before I even open the door. Laughter, music, somebody's baby crying, Uncle Ray arguing about the correct way to make cornbread stuffing. Home. There he is. Mama hollers the second I walk in, wiping her hands on her apron and coming at me like she ain't seen me in 6 months instead of 2 days. Julie and Thomas Hayes, you are late. Sorry, Mama. Got caught up talking after service. Uh-huh. She narrows her eyes, and I know that look. That's the I know exactly what you were doing and we will be discussing it later look. Well, get in here and help your cousin carry the ham. It's heavier than it looks. I do as I'm told, because you don't argue with Diane Hayes on Christmas Eve. But the whole time I'm helping set the table, pouring sweet tea, listening to Aunt Caroline tell the same story about the time she met Dolly Parton at a Piggly Wiggly in 1987, my mind is somewhere else. It's on a girl in a green dress. A girl who might just be brave enough to let herself want something real. And if she does? Well, I'll be right here waiting. Dinner's loud and chaotic and perfect, the way it always is. Mama outdid herself: honey glazed ham, green bean casserole, mac and cheese that could win awards, rolls so fluffy you could use them as pillows. My little niece, Emma, keeps trying to feed me her mashed potatoes even though I got a whole plate of my own, and my brother Jake quit giving me grief about missing the last poker night. You been awful distracted lately, Sammy, he says, grinning like he knows something. Wouldn't he have anything to do with a certain journalist, would it? The whole table goes quiet. Real subtle, Jake. Thanks for that. Mama sets down her fork real careful. A journalist? Charlotte Sinclair, Aunt Caroline chimes in, 'cause apparently we're doing this now. Linda's daughter. The one who moved to New York. Oh, I know who Charlotte Sinclair is, Mama says, and now she's looking at me with that smile, the one that means she's already picking out china patterns and deciding where to put the wedding cake. Jules, is there something you'd like to share with the family? I take a long drink of sweet tea, stalling for time. I'm working on it, Mama. She reaches over and pats my hand. Well, work faster, baby. That girl's a keeper. And you know what? She's right. After dinner, I help clean up even though Mama tries to shoo me away. I'm drying dishes when my phone buzzes in my pocket. Charlotte, thank you. For everything. For being honest. For being you. My heart does something stupid, flips right over in my chest like a kid on a trampoline. Me, anytime, darlin'. You doing okay? Charlotte, I don't know. Maybe. Ask me tomorrow. Me, tomorrow then. Sleep good, Charlotte. Charlotte, you too, Jules. I stare at my phone for a good minute, grinning like an idiot, before I realize Mama's watching me from across the kitchen. That her? Yes, Ma am. She smiles, soft and knowing. You got it bad, don't you, baby? Yes, Ma am, I say again, 'cause there ain't no point in denying it. I really do. Mama walks over, cups my face in both her hands the way she used to when I was little. Then you fight for her, Jules. You hear me? If she's the one, you don't let her go. I want tea, Mama. I promise. And I mean it. Whatever it takes, however long it takes, I'm gonna show Charlotte Sinclair that coming home don't mean giving up who you are. It means finding out who you've always been. On the 25th, I stopped by the Sinclair house around mid-morning, little present tucked away in my jacket pocket for Charlotte, even though I know she's not expecting it. Probably shouldn't be showing up unannounced on Christmas Day, but hell, I've known this family since I was in diapers. If there's any day I gotta stand an invitation, it's today. Besides, I couldn't stay away if I tried. Their house is in complete uproar when I knock, can hear it through the door before anybody even answers. Mia and Caleb are screaming with delight, sounds of wrapping paper tearing and what might be a toy fire truck crashing into something expensive. Christmas music is playing loud enough to wake the neighbors, and I can smell cinnamon rolls and coffee and that specific brand of chaos that only happens when you got toddlers hopped up on sugar cookies at 8 in the morning. Linda Sinclair opens the door in a bathrobe covered in snowmen, hair still in curlers, holding a mug that says, I put the ho-ho-ho in homicide. Jules Hayes. She lights up like I just personally delivered Santa himself. Get in here, baby, it's freezing out there. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Mrs. Sinclair. I step inside, stomping snow off my boots on the mat 'cause Mama raised me right. Hope I'm not intruding. Intruding? Boy, please. Your family. She pulls me into a hug that smells like Chanel No. 5 and coffee, then hollers over her shoulder, Richard, Sam S. here. Mr. Sinclair appears from the living room, wearing a sweater that's got a actual light-up Rudolph nose on it, holding Caleb upside down by the ankles while the kid giggles like a maniac. Jules. Merry Christmas, son. He flips Caleb right side up and sets him down, only for the kid to immediately take off running after his sister. You here for breakfast? Linda made enough cinnamon rolls to feed the entire county. I don't want to impose. Nonsense. Linda's already pulling me toward the kitchen. You know the rules. Christmas morning, open door policy. Besides, Ethan and Ashley are here, Grandma Eileen South holding court in the living room, and... She pauses, giving me a look that's way too knowing for this early in the morning. Charlotte's here too. In case you were wondering. My ears go hot. I wasn't I mean, that's nice, I just. Uh-huh. Linda pats my cheek like I'm still 12 years old. Sure, baby. Go on in. I'll bring you some coffee. The living room looks like a tornado hit a Hallmark store. Wrapping paper everywhere, red and green and silver scattered across the carpet like confetti. The Christmas tree lit up in the corner, ornaments hanging on at odd angles 'cause the twins definitely helped decorate. Presents are piled under it, half-opened boxes stacked on the couch, and there's a toy piano in the middle of the floor that Caleb's beaten on like he's Jerry Lee Lewis. And there, sitting cross-legged on the floor in flannel pajama pants and an oversized sweater, hair pulled up in a messy bun, no makeup, wrapping paper stuck to her sock, is Charlotte. She has helping Mia open some kind of doll, Logan as the little girl shrieks with excitement, and I swear to God, my heart just stops. Just completely gives up right there in the Sinclair living room on Christmas morning. She looks so happy. Relaxed. Like she belongs right here in the middle of all this beautiful chaos. She glances up and sees me, and her whole face changes. Softens. Those brown eyes go wide, and she smiles, not the polite smile she gives strangers or the professional one she probably uses in New York, but the real one. The one I'd do just about anything to see. Jules. Mia spots me and abandons her doll, running full speed and launching herself at my legs. You came. Did you bring presents? I scoop her up, settling her on my hip. Maybe. You been good this year? So good, she says solemnly, then whispers, Caleb wasn't he though? I heard that. Caleb yells from the piano. Ethan S. sprawled in the recliner, Ashley curled up next to him, both of them looking tired but content. He raises his coffee mug at me. Hayes. Didn't he expect to see you till later? Yeah, well. I shrug, feeling suddenly awkward with everyone looking at me. Wanted to stop by. Say Merry Christmas. Ethan says, and his grin is way too smug. That the only reason? Ashley smacks his arm. Be nice. Grandma Eileen S. perched in her usual spot on the love seat, a blanket across her lap, and she has given me the same look Linda did, like she knows exactly why I'm here and she is thoroughly entertained by it. Julian, she says warmly. Come give an old woman a hug. I set Mia down and cross over to Grandma Eileen, bending down to hug her careful. She might be 86, but her grip is still strong as ever. Merry Christmas, Grandma Eileen. Merry Christmas, sweet boy. She pats my cheek, then leans in and whispers, she has been checking the door all morning. My heart does that stupid flip thing again. Really? Really? Grandma Eileen winks. Now go talk to her before she combusts. I make my way over to where Charlotte is still sitting on the floor, and suddenly I'm 14 again, all awkward limbs and no idea what to say to the girl I like. Except now I'm 32, 6'3", and I already told her brother I'm in love with her, so there ain't much point in pretendin'. Hey, I say, real smooth. Hey. She is fidgetin' with the edge of her sweater, not quite meetin' my eyes. I didn't know you were coming by. Yeah, I pulled a small wrapped box out of my jacket pocket. I got you something. Nothing big, just. I wanted you to have it. Her eyes go soft. Jules, you didn't have to. I wanted to. I sit down next to her on the floor, crossing my legs like we're kids at story time. Go on, open it. She takes the box, fingers brushing against mine, and even that tiny touch sends electricity up my arm. She is careful with the wrapping paper, peeling the tape instead of tearing it, and I can't help but smile. You're one of those people who saves the paper, aren't you? It's wasteful to just rip it, she says defensively, but she is smiling too. When she finally gets it open, she just stares. It's a compass. Small, silver, vintage looking. I found it at an antique shop in Charleston last week and knew it was perfect. So you can always find your way home, I say quietly. Wherever home is for you. Her breath catches, and when she looks up at me, her eyes are shiny. Jules. I know you got a whole life in New York, I continue, needing to say this while I got the courage. And I ain't asking you to give that up. I want you to know that this place, these people I don't say out loud, but I think she hears it anyway. We're here. Whenever you need us. She is quiet for a long moment, turning the compass over in her hands, running her thumb across the engraving on the back. Not all who wander are lost. You remembered, she whispers. Course I did. It's your favorite Tolkien quote. You had it on a poster in your room senior year. A tear slips down her cheek, and before I can think better of it, I reach out and brush it away with my thumb. Don't cry, darlin'. It's Christmas. She laughs, watery and soft. These are good tears, you idiot. Oh. Well, then carry on. She sets the compass down real careful, and then without warning she throws her arms around my neck and hugs me so tight I can barely breathe. I don't even hesitate. I wrap my arms around her waist and hold on, pressing my face into her shoulder, breathing in the scent of her shampoo and coffee and home. Thank you, she whispers against my neck. Anytime, Charlotte. I mean that. We stay like that for probably too long, wrapped up in each other while her family pretends not to watch. When we finally pull back, her cheeks are pink and she is smiling that smile again, the real one. I got you something too, she says suddenly. It's not wrapped or anything, I didn't think hang on. She scrambles up and disappears down the hallway, leaving me sitting there on the floor feeling like I just won the lottery. Ethan leans over from the recliner. You're really going for it, huh? Yeah, I say, not even trying to hide the grin on my face. I really am. Good. He nods, serious now. She deserves someone who shows up, Jules. Who doesn't he make her feel like she's gotta choose between who she is and being loved? I know. I'm gonna be that person, Ethan. I swear. I believe you. Charlotte comes back a minute later, holding something behind her back, looking nervous. Okay, so, I didn't have time to wrap it, and it's kinda stupid, but she pulls out a book. Hardcover, worn around the edges, pages dog-eared like it's been read 100 times. The Fellowship of the Ring. I take it, confused, and then I see the inscription on the inside cover. To Jules for all the adventures we haven't had yet. Tori age 16. My throat goes tight. You kept this? I was gonna give it to you senior year, she admits, sitting back down next to me. For your birthday. But then I chickened out, because I was scared you'd know how I felt, and I thought you'd never feel the same way. So I just held on to it. All these years. I stare at the book, at her handwriting from when she was 16 years old, at the words adventures we haven't had yet, and something in my chest just cracks wide open. Charlotte Sinclair, I say, voice rough. I have been in love with you since you wore those ridiculous overalls and could quote entire Monty Python sketches. Did you know that? She shakes her head, bit in her lip. Well, now you do. I set the book down carefully, like it's something precious because it is, and take both her hands in mine. And I'm gonna keep loving you whether you're here or in New York or on the damn moon. That ain't gonna change. So whatever you decide, wherever you go, just know that. Her eyes are full on waterworks now, and she yes Logan and crying at the same time. You can't just say things like that, Jules Hayes. Why not? It's true. Because she sniffles, wiping her face with her sleeve. Because it makes it really hard to think straight. Good. I grin. That was kinda the point. Mia chooses that exact moment to crash into us, holding her new doll. Are you guys gonna kiss again? Daddy said you kissed in a truck. The entire room goes silent. Charlotte's face turns bright red. Ethan. Hey, don't look at me. Ethan holds up his hands. Ashley told her. I did not. Ashley protests. She must be heard us talking. Kiss. 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 Caleb starts chanting, banging on his piano. Grandma Eileen is cackling so hard she can barely breathe. I look at Charlotte, and she looks at me, and we both just start Logan real, honest, can't help it laughter that comes from somewhere deep and true. Your family is insane, I tell her. I know. I love him. Me too. And then, because I'm nothing if not a crowd pleaser, I lean in and kiss her. Right there on the living room floor, surrounded by wrapping paper and toy pianos and her entire chaotic, wonderful family. It's soft and quick and perfect. When I pull back, Mia's clapping, Caleb's cheering, Ethan's shaking his head with a grin, and Grandma Eileen is saying something about finally to anyone who LL listen. And Charlotte? She is smiling at me like maybe, just maybe, she is finned in her way home too. Charlotte Hayes 2 years later. Watch the steps, darlin'. Jules says, grabbing my hand as I waddle out of our house. I'm not even 6 months pregnant and my husband is treating me like I'm some kind of porcelain doll balanced on the edge of a cliff during an earthquake. Like one wrong step and I'll just explode into a million pieces right here on our front porch. Jules, I walked down these steps this morning. Twice. In the dark. While carrying a laundry basket. That was before you were carrying groceries. I'm carrying saltines and ginger ale. I think Western civilization will survive. But what if you trip? Then I'll fall exactly the same way I would if you were clutching my hand like I'm about to base jump off the roof. He doesn't let go. Because of course he doesn't. Damn Southern boys and their manners. It's been 2 years since I crawled into Jules' lap in his truck, since we confessed our feelings and my entire carefully constructed world flipped upside down like a snow globe someone shook too hard. After that Christmas, after the compass, the kiss, the extremely public declaration of feelings in front of God and Mrs. Bledsoe, I went back to New York. Because I'm not a complete romantic disaster. I had responsibilities. A lease. A job. houseplants that were somehow still alive despite my best efforts to kill them through neglect. I stayed exactly 1 week. 1 week of staring at my apartment walls, which were a depressing shade of landlord beige I'd never noticed before, and realizing I couldn't remember why I'd thought this was worth it. 1 week of my editor cheerfully piling assignments on my desk while I felt absolutely nothing except a vague sense of didn't I used to care about this? 1 week of weak coffee, subway delays, and my upstairs neighbor's truly baffling 2 a.m. tap dancing hobby. 1 week of missing Jules so much I felt like someone had scooped out my insides with a melon baller. So I quit. Just walked into my editor's office, the same man who once told me I was destined for greatness and the future of investigative journalism, and said, "I'm done." He blinked at me like I'd just announced I was joining a cult. "You're... what?" "Done. Finished. I'm moving back to South Carolina." "For a man?" And here's the thing, old Charlotte, the one who spent her 20s proving she didn't need anyone, who made her career her entire personality, who rolled her eyes at every rom-com where the woman gives up her dreams for love, that Charlotte would been offended by the question. But new Charlotte? New Charlotte just shrugged. "Yeah. And for myself. Mostly for myself, actually. The man's just a really great bonus." He looked at me like I'd grown a second head. "Charlotte, you're one of our best writers. You have a future here. I'll have a future there too. Just one where I don't feel like I'm slowly dying inside while writing about subway rate hikes." I lasted another 3 days, long enough to pack my apartment, sell most of my furniture to a suspiciously eager NYU student, and say goodbye to exactly 2 people I'd actually miss. Turns out, when you spend all your time working, you don't actually build much of a life. Fun discovery. Real uplifting. I love journalism. Still do. But I also don't need to work 20 hours a day, survive on bodega coffee that tastes like regret, and pretend that the hustle is a personality trait instead of just exhausting. Now I write for 3 digital newspapers: Charlotte, Magnolia Creek, and the little town over that's so small it doesn't even have a Starbucks, just a gas station that sells surprisingly good coffee and gossip in equal measure. I cover local politics, school board drama, human interest pieces about people who've lived here their whole lives and have stories that actually matter. Last month I did an exposé on the county commissioner who was funneling funds to his brother's consulting company. The company's only employee was his brother. The only service they provided was consulting. It was the easiest investigation of my life. I won an award for it. A real one, not just the participation trophy kind. Turns out, you don't have to live in New York to do real journalism. Who knew? I work from home most days, in leggings, and one of Jules's old Henley shirts that's so big on me it's basically a dress. I have an actual office with actual windows that open to let in actual fresh air that doesn't smell like garbage and someone's questionable life choices. I also have a garden. A garden. With tomatoes and zucchini and herbs I actually use. I, Charlotte Sinclair, Charlotte Hayes, former cynic and professional overthinker, have a garden. My mother cried when she saw it. I'm still not sure if it was pride or shock. It's disgustingly domestic and I'm infuriatingly content about it. Jules and I dated for 8 months before he got down on one knee and put a ring on my finger. 8 months of him driving to Charlotte some weekends when I had deadlines, of me coming back to Magnolia Creek every chance I got, of phone calls that lasted until 2 a.m. where we talked about everything and nothing. 8 months before he took me back to that same church lawn where we had our first real conversation after the kiss, got down on one knee, and said, "I know you're not big on traditional stuff, and I know you probably think this is too fast, but Charlotte Sinclair, I have loved you since you had braces and an attitude problem." "Still have the attitude problem," I interrupted. "And I don't want to spend another day pretending I can imagine a future that doesn't have you in it. Marry me." It wasn't a question. It was a statement. A fact. Like he was just confirming something we both already knew. I said yes before he even finished talking. My mother planned the entire wedding in 4 months, a feat of organizational terrorism that should probably be studied by military strategists. We got married in September, right before the weather turned. Small ceremony, just family and close friends, in the same church where I sat 2 years ago having an existential crisis about whether I could actually have the things I wanted. Ethan was Jules's best man. He cried during his speech. Everyone cried. I cried. Jules cried. Even Mrs. Bledsoe cried, and I'm pretty sure that woman S-tier ducks had been sealed shut since 1987. It was perfect and ridiculous and everything I didn't know I wanted. And now? Now I'm carrying our first child. On our second Christmas together as a married couple. Third Christmas since that first one where everything changed. You okay? Jules asks, still hovering as we reach the truck. I'm pregnant, not terminal. I know, but... Jules. I turn to face him, and even 6 months pregnant and shaped like a reasonably attractive potato, even exhausted and emotional and already over the whole growing a human thing, he looks at me like I'm the best thing that ever happened to him. I love you. I love that you care. But if you don't let me carry one bag of groceries, I'm going to lose what's left of my mind. He grins that slow, devastating smile that made me fall for him in the first place. Can't have that. You need your mind for all that award-winning journalism. Exactly. He takes the bag anyway. But I'm still carrying this. I sigh. Deeply. With feeling. Damn Southern boys and their complete inability to not be gentlemen. You're impossible. You married me. Worst decision I ever made, I mutter, but I'm smiling as I say it. He helps me into the truck, actually lifts me, like I'm incapable of basic motor function, and I let him because honestly? I'm tired, my back hurts, and there's a tiny human using my bladder as a trampoline. Pregnancy is a scam. No one tells you this. They just show you the cute pictures and don't mention that you'll spend 6 months feeling like you're smuggling a bowling ball and your body is actively rebelling against you. We're headed to my parents' house for Christmas morning. Third Christmas since I came home. Second as husband and wife. First as parents-to-be. The truck is packed with presents, pie, and my ginger ale. I'm wearing snow boots that shouldn't count as footwear and leggings I'm pretending are pants. Jules S. holding my hand like he always does. And somehow, in this totally absurd, unexpectedly perfect version of my life, I don't want to be anywhere else. We pull out of the driveway and head toward my parents' place, Christmas music on low and the heater rattling like it's got opinions. Jules drives one-handed, the other still resting over mine like he's worried I'll disappear if he stops touching me for more than 30 seconds. This is how he's been since I peed on a stick and promptly burst into tears in our bathroom. Not because I was sad, God, no. Just overwhelmed. And hormonal. And maybe a little nauseated because I'd eaten half a jar of pickles for breakfast. Ever since, he has been hovering like I'm made of glass and wild magic. Like the baby might suddenly launch itself out of me if I bend too fast or sneeze too hard. You don't have to keep doing that, I murmur, glancing down at our joined hands. I'm not gonna bolt. Don't mind it, he says without looking over. Gotta make sure you're still real. I snort. The swollen ankles and hormone-induced road rage, didn't he do it for you? Nah, he grins, all dimples and pure evil. Those just confirm you're definitely carrying my child. I flick the heat vent toward him like it's a weapon. He just laughs, the bastard. 10 minutes later we pull up to my parents' house, which is already overflowing with cars. And voices. And chaos. I spot Ethan S. truck, Ashley S. SUV, Grandma Eileen S. Lincoln bless her, and some car I don't recognize, which probably belongs to one of my cousins or one of their 8 children. Christmas at the Sinclair house is less of a holiday and more of a full-contact sport. Jules kills the engine. You want to go in first or should I shield you from the grandparent onslaught? I look down at my belly. They're going to want to touch me. They are, he confirms grimly. They're going to ask if we've picked a name. They are. And then they're going to suggest something horrifying, like Brenda. Almost definitely. We sit in silence for a beat. You go first, I say. He nods. Coward. You love me. He kisses the back of my hand. Yeah, I do. The second we step inside, it's game over. My mother barrels toward me with the grace of a linebacker and a plate of cookies. Her hair is perfect, her lipstick is murder red, and her apron says Santa's favorite bitch in rhinestones. Baby girl, she squeals, which is deeply inappropriate for someone 32 years old and currently host to a whole human. Oh my God, look at you. Look at my grandbaby belly. Nope, I say, backing up. No belly rubs. I have boundaries now. She ignores me completely and pulls me into a hug that smells like sugar cookies and high expectations. Jules gets hugged too. Of course he does. My mother adores him. She still insists he's the best thing that ever happened to this family and once introduced him at a garden party as my son-in-law/miracle worker. Jules, honey, go make yourself useful and help Ethan in the kitchen. He's trying to deep fry a turkey and I don't trust him not to set something on fire. Jules kisses my temple. You want me to rescue you? Too late, I mutter as Grandma Eileen spots me and starts charging with her cane like she is jousting. I love this woman. I do. But she treats pregnancy like a contact sport. She clutches both my cheeks, kisses my forehead, and says loudly, she is glowing. Look at that skin. Are you sure it's not twins? I nearly fake a seizure to escape. Eventually I escape to the couch, where I sit like a beached whale under a pile of throw pillows, nursing a ginger ale and pretending I'm not 2 seconds from a nap. Jules walks by and winks at me like I'm a woman on a chaise lounge in a perfume ad. He has got flour on his hands and a smug expression that says I just successfully told your uncle the difference between tongs and a meat thermometer. God, I love him. Half an hour later, the twins Caleb and Mia, now older, faster, louder, crash into me at full speed, launching into my lap and asking 1,000 questions at once. Is the baby in there? Does she sleep? Does she poop? Will she come out at Christmas? Can I name her Sparkle? Mia presses her ear to my belly like it's a seashell. I heard something. That was my stomach growling, I say. She frowns. Does the baby want cookies? Desperately. Me too. We eat cookies. I have 3. No regrets. Eventually Jules finds me again, tucks himself beside me on the couch and puts a hand on my knee. Just that. No words. No big gestures. Just warmth. Contact. Here. And as my family explodes around us, tinsel everywhere, wrapping paper carnage, someone screaming that the ham is on fire, I lean my head against his shoulder and close my eyes. This isn't the life I thought I wanted. It's louder. Messier. More chaotic. I used to think peace meant solitude, distance, some perfectly curated city life with clean corners and matching throw pillows. Turns out, peace is sitting in the middle of mayhem with your husband rubbing slow circles into your thigh while your niece tries to name your unborn daughter Princess Cheese. It's being so tired you could cry, but knowing if you looked up right now, you'd see love in every direction. It's ginger ale and hormones and belly kicks and the long, slow joy of being known and wanted anyway. I crack one eye open. You good? Jules murmurs. Yeah, I whisper. Just happy. He shifts beside me, careful like always, his arm sliding behind my back so I can lean into him better. I let myself melt sideways into his chest, my legs half curled on the couch and my ginger ale sloshing dangerously close to spilling. Jules just steadies the cup with one hand like it's second nature. Like I'm second nature. You sure? He asks again, his voice low and warm and a little amused. You're crying. I blink. Damn it. I swipe under my eyes, catching one of those sneaky, hormonal, entirely uninvited tears that somehow snuck out during all the chaos. It's just I wave vaguely toward the general madness of the living room. There are 4 kinds of pie on the table. Mia just declared that Santa is fake and Jesus is cooler, and your mom cornered me in the kitchen to ask if we're considering the name Eloise, because it's a strong name, Charlotte, a senator's name. Jules bites back a grin. Strong name. I said if we name her Eloise, I'm naming the next one after a Pokemon out of spite. You could do worse than Jigglypuff. I sigh. I'm emotionally unstable and physically round. Don't tempt me. He leans in and kisses the top of my head, lingering there like he's got nowhere better to be. And he doesn't he? Because this is it now, our life, loud and wild and sticky with cookie icing and family commentary and feelings I can barely fit in my ribcage anymore. I like this, I mumble into his shirt. This? He tugs the blanket around my knees. This specific moment where you're crying, hormonal, and your niece is trying to name our kid Princess Cheese? Yeah. I tilt my head, meet his eyes. Because you're here. Because none of it feels temporary. He doesn't say anything for a second. Just looks at me, really looks, like he's tucking the moment away somewhere permanent. Me neither, he says finally. Feels like forever. It hits me then. How close we came to not having this. To almost choosing safe over real. Career over connection. Motion over meaning. And God, I would be missed all of it. I don't need anything else, I whisper, more to myself than to him. Just this. You. Her. He places his hand low over my stomach and waits until he feels it. That kick, our girl-esque signature move. Always a little late. Always a little strong. Reckon she agrees, he says. From the other side of the room, someone shouts about eggnog, and Ethan yells back that no one needs to start that fight again, and someone else breaks a plate, and it should all be too much. But it's not. It's mine.